This is a Poet Punch podcast.
Picture this, okay? You guys are poring over notes in the whatever room.
Yeah.
The writer's room.
The MCU back rooms.
One of you throws a notebook across the room and it hits like the glass walls in conference room. Yeah. You just can't crack this, okay?
Yeah.
Cut to heeled boots, like clip clopping. That's not the onomatopoeia.
Metal pipe noise.
Clicking, metal piping. No, don't do that. That would be an editing nightmare.
Dong, dong.
No. That would actually be an editing nightmare.
Yeah.
But like heeled boots walking along a corridor, okay, and then like cool music, and then a figure, like a silhouette, slides. I don't know why my verbs are.
Right, keep
a
going.
Silhouette engulfs you guys. Okay, and it's me. Hello, associates.
Oh my god, it's accountant from the Kang Dynasty world timeline.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And also Ru from MCUsical and Red Guardian and other such hits.
Enough talking. And then
stop talking.
And I slam a suitcase on the thing, and I unclick the suitcase, and I open it. It's a briefcase, not a suitcase.
Yeah, I was about to say, but that's fine.
Yeah.
My cool
We've
entrance.
got props. We can do all of these props
cool
real time if we wanted to.
Completely ruined by me.
A freaky fikey episode intro where things go wrong.
Yes, please.
Whatever.
Yes, please.
Whatever. I'm Ru.
Wait, another episode.
I'm Ru. Let's talk about Miles Morales.
So this is the final episode of Spider Month.
No.
It's the final regular episode of Spider.
Because there's the Spider-Man, and then there's the Spider-Geddon.
Spider-Geddon doesn't count. It doesn't happen in the same month.
I'll kill you! It's kind of true, though.
It
right.
is the last day of the month. No,
I
it's
don't like
not.
it when he talks back to me, but he is right.
It's almost the last day of the month.
Well, yeah. No, this comes out on the last day of the month.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I broke the illusion. It's the last day of the month.
It is
What
Friday.
was the we hastily edit every single episode on the day.
Yeah.
Like printing press journalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like printing
The public
press
has to know
journalism.
about this.
Right.
Okay.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's
Like printing press.
So talk me through how this episode. Talk me through what's going on here.
so.
Yeah, you're the expert on Miles Morales or something.
Because you've read comics, which is usually how all these experts come on our show. Conrad read Spider-Punk. Bri read Superior Spider-Man.
Interesting.
You have read Miles Morales.
I read Miles Morales years ago, because I think his run initially came out before Homecoming, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And I remember a lot of people being like, oh my god, is Miles Morales going to be in Homecoming? And I was like, I don't believe that life would be that cool. And I was right. I mean, Homecoming was
I
great.
mean, they were half right. They had the Prowler.
Yeah, anyway, Tom was going to say
sick.
something.
Right. Yeah, I was going to explain what we're going to do.
We're going to make a story
Which is
about
that
Miles Morales.
we've come up with some other stories. Some have been set within the MCU, and some have been set outside of it. But for Miles Morales, I think it's best that we try to stick to the MCU.
Yeah, I don't
canon.
see a world where it's not that.
I've been listening to Spider Month, because I don't listen to this podcast unless it interests me.
Yeah.
Producer for all episodes of Freaky Fucking. I don't listen to
I
this show.
listen to them more now, but I have been listening to Spider Month, and I remember I listened to Bry's episode when he came on, and he was like, I want to set it in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and me, known Andrew Garfield universe enjoyer, threw my notebook across the room and was like, fuck! Because I have always... this is my initial, like, just my backstory on what I've thought of if I ever was given Miles Morales to make. This isn't my pitch. But I always thought it would be interesting to have Miles Morales show up in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, because I can always see that Spider-Man as more of...
A mentor.
I think if he were to show up in the MCU... Yeah.
From the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a synonym for
My favorite was the tweet that was the guy that was like, he's a mentor and his name is Mentor. That's so fucking stupid. And someone being like,
That's
his
where the
name
fucking
is
word comes from,
his
you
name
idiot.
is where the word comes from. And he's like, the movie came out yesterday.
Like, I knew that was the case, but like, even in my brain was like, his name is Mental. That's fucking
Do you know what's
stupid.
funny? We did the same thing where we turned to each other when a name got revealed that we did during Oppenheimer.
Oh, fuck, the Heisenberg one.
Because Oppenheimer was like, we need to talk to Heisenberg, and then we both turned to each other and then in full shame looked away immediately because we were like, no.
Alright.
Made me completely forget what I was
Jesse.
Oh yeah, so like when I was a kid, I used to write little like Amazing Spider-Man fan fiction. I say kid, I was like 16. But and in that it would often be like, especially this wasn't when I was a kid, but like post No Way Home, an Amazing Spider-Man who goes back to his world and is like, I need to find my Gwen. And then Miles Morales is his like new mentor, and he meets Gwen through
Mentee.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm too Odyssey pilled right now. Haven't seen it yet. And the like one of the like fan fictions I read, I remember Gwen was like Miles's babysitter, and that was like how the whole Amazing Spider-Man thing went full circle. And I remember thinking like, that's how I would do it. Now, obviously, I can't do that.
I would have probably said, nah, that doesn't make sense, even if it had been.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't see it as an
That's
Amazing
because you're
Spider-Man
a fucking
thing.
hater.
Yeah, I hate everything.
From what I remember from listening to the previous episodes, I need to offer my credentials, don't I? So yes, I read the original, I think it was called The Ultimate
Yes,
Miles
cool.
Morales run.
Sick.
I don't remember much, but I remember, like, from what I remember, Miles' backstory is essentially, I think it was, like, shortly before they decided in the Ultimate Run that they wanted to kill Spider-Man. They were like, fuck, but then we want to use Spider-Man again. This is my assumption. Because then they immediately gave Miles his powers, but Miles didn't actually become Spider-Man until, like, after Peter Parker dies. So...
Well, that was the whole thing where... like, the whole reason why Miles came to be was the Donald Glover tweet stuff.
When they were rebooting Spider-Man from the Tobey Maguire era, and they were going for the Amazing Spider-Man run, there was a whole thing on Twitter of, we think Donald Glover should be Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
And then there was obviously a whole backlash with specifically white nerds being like, no! Peter Parker can't be black. And then, Donald Glover was just like, I'm just sitting here, guys. Nothing...
I
I mean, I'll
remember-
take Spider-Man if it comes, but I don't care that much. And then everyone was like, wait, no, Donald Glover would be a great Spider-Man. And then that's why they went for, okay, let's try and make a black Spider-Man.
So, Miles Morales actually...
And that's... Sorry. And that's why Donald Glover is the Prowler in Homecoming.
Yes.
It's a reference to...
That's what I figured. Miles Morales in the Ultimate Universe actually already existed before they knew they were going to make him Spider-Man. He was just like some guy in the neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken. And essentially how he gets his powers is his uncle, Aaron something,
Aaron
Taylor Johnson, who becomes the Prowler, breaks into Oscorp and steals a formula. So in the Ultimate Universe, Oscorp is trying to create super soldiers, blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the
usual.
spiders are one part of that,
Another
right?
day at Marvel.
So I think it's literally called the Oz formula or something, which is stupid, and I don't want to continue using that if we use this thing. But Aaron breaks into Oscorp, steals that formula, and unbeknownst to him, a spider crawls into his bag in the process and bites Miles. And Miles goes through this whole transformation. He gets most famously his like electric, what are they called?
Zappy power, yeah.
Bioelectric powers. I think he can make his own web in I don't know if it's in this iteration, but in one of them he can.
Is his electricity thing the only, like, major difference?
Invisibility.
And he gets camouflage.
Yes, right.
So he gets camouflage and he gets his bio powers.
Yeah.
And he is just like, all right, man. And continues on living his life.
Right.
I think notably, he does not feel the need to do all the whole vigilante. Like, whereas every other spider person has felt a call to power in that moment, he doesn't feel the need for it because there's already a Spider-Man.
That's quite similar to the original PS4 game version, if you think about it.
So, actually it is. So that's why I really liked that reveal at the end of the...
He happens to have the powers, he does nothing about it.
Yeah, spoilers for if you haven't fucking played the Spider-Man PS4
game, so...
and you're listening to this podcast, I don't know if you care about spoilers, but at the end of... Is it in, like, the epilogue of the...
No,
it's just the end of the game.
It's just at the end of the game, Miles goes up to Peter and is like, hey, I have these powers.
Oh, right, I thought you were going to talk about the because that, like, the event where his dad dies.
Yeah.
That's, like, the, like, mid part of the entire story, I would argue.
But that's not when he gets his powers.
No. What?
One thing that's really interesting...
He gets his misremembering.
No, so he gets his... Okay, so in Insomniac's Spider-Man, he gets his powers when Gwen sneaks into Oscorp, finds the symbiote, which isn't used until Spider-Man 2.
Right.
And Spider crawls into, I think, her bag, that she then brings back when she's talking to Miles about how his dad died and they're talking there. And
do you mean MJ or
MJ?
Gwen? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, MJ.
Yeah.
And then she then the Spider then crawls out of the bag and into Miles's boxes that he's unpacking, and then you're meant to... I don't know if they show
they
him
don't
getting
show
bit,
it.
but you're
it's just implied.
Yeah, you're meant to get the implication that somewhere between then and the end of the game, Miles was bitten and has powers.
Yeah. And then it's really interesting because Miles is the only character... No, I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong here and someone will come for me. But hey, engagement.
Watch our pod. Like, comment, subscribe.
Attack me.
DM me. My Instagram is @NatOfTheHay.
Yeah.
Violently,
attack Nat if I get anything wrong.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Miles is interesting in the sense that... And they mention this because eventually in the Ultimate Run... he meets other Spider-Man, he goes across the Spider-Verse, blah, 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 and that's what the movie is based off of. But, like, he's actually noted in canon as one of the few Spider-Man, or the only Spider-Man, who doesn't have a relative die in order to be his call to power.
Yeah.
His call to power is Peter dying.
Yeah.
And, I don't remember the specifics of it, but essentially Peter Parker dies in his universe. And he starts wearing and this is actually in the Spider-Verse movie as well, which I thought was kind of cool. He puts on a Spider-Man costume and then tries to fight crime in Brooklyn. And he comes across Spider-Woman, who is like, I think it's her, or it's someone in the comic rather, who is like, that's kind of in bad taste, man. He died like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're fighting crime means nothing because you're wearing his moniker. And that is what prompts him. What's up?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. And that is what prompts him to eventually get a new suit. They basically tell him, that's in poor taste. He just died like 2 weeks ago. And so that's what eventually ends up prompting him to get a different suit. I think someone gives him the suit. The thing with Miles is that even though he is the new Spider-Man, he rarely gets to be his own Spider-Man. He is kind of pulled into S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff and multiverse stuff.
Right.
And eventually Doomsday stuff. Like, almost immediately. So he has his own rogue gallery, but not many people know about it. I think the first villain he fights is Kangaroo. Can you guys tell me anything about Kangaroo?
I'm
exactly.
guessing he's based off a kangaroo.
His
in some way,
rogues
shape,
gallery goes from, like, I'm Kangaroo, or I think he fights, like, something called, like a ninja fox furry at one point.
Sorry.
And then he'll fight things like Quantum, who is an interdimensional traveling like villain thing.
And it's sort of like
no one remembers these guys. I think I felt sad about, and fun fact actually, the whole like this is in poor taste costume thing was interesting because when they announced that Miles Morales comic run was coming out, a lot of the haters on the internet were like, "Hey, why the fuck does he have like a suit so similar to Spider-Man?" Lie. Why the fuck does he have such a suit that's so similar to Spider-Man? That's in poor taste. And it was
because he's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he's
and
the new
it's
one.
actually something in the comic that is like said. So I just found that kind of interesting. But yeah, one thing I find kind of tragic is that Miles Morales, from what I remember, rarely gets to actually be his own Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which the game, as short as the game is, which made me kind of sad, I really like the PS4 is it PS4, PS5?
Yeah, it's fine.
He's like a key member of his community in Brooklyn, and he gets to he knows people by name. And while Spider-Man is a hero for New York, I mean, I know he's from Queens, but he's a bigger hero. Miles Morales is a neighborhood Spider-Man. And I think that if we were to bring him into the MCU, he should get his own,
this is
Rogues Gallery, his
yeah.
own movie. I think he deserves to be properly
in the
celebrated.
same way that Daredevil in the MCU is this is the Hell's Kitchen guy.
Because as
He
much
should
as
be
I
like
love Spider-Verse, it's genuinely the movie that made me want to go into creativity.
I was going to get to a point where it's I think one of the key things we should really do is, if there is a beat in Spider-Verse, we try and avoid doing it.
Yeah.
So I honestly think we should go more along the lines of the PS4 game of his dad fucking dies. That's a call to action in some way, shape, or form.
Interesting.
And I think there is just an element of they're never gonna take Tom Holland out.
I like the two Spider-Men.
I think they should at least have
I am a big
one
fan
to
of
two
it, yeah.
movies with each other.
Being the
before
only
they
person
switch
who's
out
played,
completely.
being the only person who's played Spider-Man 2 here, I think the dynamic of them teaming up to do things is very interesting, and especially when you can do stuff where one of them is down and the other one has to pick them back up, and they would do the same for each other, and they're not a team, but they operate in the same city and they help each other out when they need.
It's
I've always been a massive, massive fan of the Peter Parkerism, because I love Peter Parker. Him being a mentor to Miles has always been such a great thing. In this MCU Spider-Man, I love Tom Holland, but I can't see him being a mentor.
I would disagree, and I would disagree for the reason of, he said on record he wants to have a similar trajectory with a Miles Morales character,
I mean,
like
that's
how
great
he
for
had
him.
with Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I think he is mature. I think Tom Holland is maturing to a point where he is reaching his 30s or what have you now.
He's 30-something already.
Yeah, he's 30
He's
something
married.
already. Because he was talking about it with the press junket for the Odyssey. He mentioned this as this is the last time I can properly play a child, probably.
Yeah.
And he is sort of getting to that level of he is going to be that Spider-Man who's probably some science lab guy that's in his 30s or what have you.
I like that he said that, but I think currently, Brand New Day comes out
But currently is the thing.
this week that we're recording. It hasn't come out yet, but I think I would have to see how he is in Brand New Day to actually see if his I think Tom Holland is there, but I don't think his Peter Parker is there yet.
I think realistically, though, this is a movie that, if it ever did come out, would be coming out in 5 to 8 years from now.
Probably. So it's
it
possible.
really would be
But again, I need to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, he would be 35 by
My-
default as an actor. And
My
somebody's-
fear would be, I think it would have to be when Tom Holland's Spider-Man is we've had enough of him, but I don't want him to eclipse. Because, like I said, Miles kind of rarely gets his own anything. In the Miles protagonist and not having to go, be not overshadowed, but even be adjacent to anyone else. In his own comic run, Spider-Woman shows up, almost immediately.
Well, if you want, what we could do is we could very briefly do a very, a short thing that is a Tom Holland movie that introduces Miles Morales first.
I've got one solution that just removes a movie.
What?
But, okay. One option is we do it before Brand New Day. And there's the reality that everyone knows who Spider-Man is. No one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. So there's almost I don't know how to reach this Spider-Man guy, but I've been bitten by this spider.
Can I offer something daring? This actually happens way later and Tom Holland's ready to retire and they kill Peter Parker.
I don't mind that happening.
I still think they need...
But
I
he
feel
needs
like
an
they deserve at least one...
No,
at
I
least
think they
30
need one
minutes of
movie
bonding.
together.
Yeah.
I think they need a whole movie together, and I think what would be interesting is if the next movie after Brand New Day, we introduce a 10-year-old Miles Morales who's oh my god, it's Spider-Man, and Peter Parker at this point is tired because he's been through shit.
Miles wouldn't be. That's a good idea. Miles wouldn't be 10 by this point
Because of the canon already.
Because Miles already exists because of
Donald Glover.
He
Donald
does,
Glover,
he
and
does.
Miles would have to be at least
I swear they say he's like an 8-year-old or something in that one.
Yeah, he says he has a little. They don't specify his age, so he can still be younger. He just has to be younger than 20.
I think Miles should be like 14.
Yeah.
I think 14's a good.
I think he should be too young to suggest he'll become Spider-Man anytime soon.
Let's assume that he's like the youngest talking age he could be in Homecoming. Like a child who is like barely finding out their personality but is able to express themselves.
Yeah.
Homecoming.
So like 5, 4, like that kind of age.
3.
And this movie would come out in
2030.
And then what does that do with the whole timeline with
do that minus 5 years to assume. Bear in mind, you're also now doing a post-Secret War, like.
No, but what year would it be in the MCU if it was the year of like 2030 in our world?
Can I ask also, just because when I was reading through my notes, because I took notes because I'm a nerd. One thing that I really wanted to try and bring in is that in a lot of iterations, like including, I think one of the cartoons back in the day, although this might have been Peter Parker, not Miles Morales, he is friends with. I was about to say Kamala Harris. That's not who I meant. Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Kamala Harris. He's best.
I don't think that's
he's a Democrat.
I think. I mean,
he is.
How about this then? What if? Because
he had a brat summer during that.
Okay, hold on. I think that while it's a good idea to think about like when this movie would realistically be being made.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helpful to us here because that would mean it would have to be a post-Secret Wars movie.
For sure, but it's more just let's try and think about what his realistic age would be with the.
But that's what, and that's what I'm saying. We just say that he's 14, and then we can say that he wasn't snapped during Infinity, and that's how he went from being like
he either
child.
He either was or was not snapped. Whatever makes it more convenient for him to be 14.
Anyways.
And this movie comes out, and we'll say that this movie comes out. This movie is set, like, during the 4-year gap between No Way Home and Brand New Day.
Oh, right. Interesting,
okay.
So, he can meet Peter but not... And
or
kind
he
of be
can meet
less...
Spider-Man and not Peter.
Or, he can meet Spider-Man and not know who
Yeah.
Peter is. And he can be off doing his own thing where Brand New Day doesn't have to address him specifically and doesn't have to go.
Because in theory, he's now in Queens doing something.
So
is it Queens?
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Shout out to I have family in Brooklyn. Shout out to Cy Uncle and Sean and
New York
Bujanti.
City. Something.
I've been to Brooklyn twice ever, but they live there.
More than I have.
So, do we want to do? What I was suggesting earlier was, do we want to do something with him? Actually, no. I think we can just do a solo movie, and this is about him.
I think
gaining his powers.
No Peter Parker.
But he's inspired by
Spider-Man.
I think he's inspired by the Spider-Man that he knows. He knows he's got similar powers.
I think, or like if we feel like we need Spider-Man, we hard limit ourselves to about 10 minutes runtime of Spider-Man.
Yeah, sure. I think
less than Iron
happens,
Man in Homecoming kind of levels.
Yeah.
I think that if that happens, that is a case of like Spider-Man. Okay, I'm having an idea. I
am
an
thinking
idea.
Dr. Doom.
You know what I'm really hyper aware of is because I've been listening to these episodes. I'm hyper aware of the fact that Spotify now likes to like auto generate chapters, and so I'm always in the back of my head like, what would this chapter be called?
Nat has an epiphany about blah 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 blah, and it's just like
this one's just going to be called.
Ru becomes self-aware.
Yeah, they discuss the Spotify algorithm. It's just going to be that.
They discuss. Wait, if we say... Oh, no, I won't say that.
we gotta
no, if I speak, I'm in big trouble.
What if we just talked about Charlie Kirk for 10 minutes? I will be
I was going to say, not worse
I'll
about
be cutting that.
I think you can include that, but fair.
No, I don't.
What if I say Spider-Man for 10 minutes?
Release
the Spider-Man files.
Release the Osborn files.
Release the Oscorp files.
So, okay, I have a question. Have you guys already established Oscorp
No.
Oh, really?
No.
That's my favorite thing to do, because you guys
Establish
know
Oscorp.
this very well, but I've been waiting for
You have a
Oscorp
whole
to get
theory
mentioned.
about Oscorp.
Actually,
In the
you're,
MCU.
I think you're a good idea. What the
I'm a good
Oscorp is
idea,
coming
I am.
up is an up and coming thing.
Yeah.
I
Say
think-
it in more detail at some point, but
Okay. So I will say my theory, and then I will bounce off of what you've just said, Ru.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my main theory for what they're maybe doing for Oscorp, and I will kind of talk about this more in the brand new day section of this at the end. But I think that they are either doing this, or it would be the smart thing to do is to build Oscorp as one of these like companies that is on the up after like.
I agree.
Like Stark Industries and stuff is out. And
I'll be
all this
surprised
stuff.
if that isn't the case.
And the reason that there was no Oscorp in No Way Home is because they were still a small company. But
No,
by the
no
time,
Avengers around properly.
Yeah.
Therefore, all trust in Avengers after new Avengers and what have you.
Like they get a contract with the new Avengers to help build the new Avengers tower and supply them with stuff. And
in uncertainty,
Yeah.
they build up. Yeah.
now, what you were saying, Ru, was kind of interesting because what we know about the like Tom Holland Spider-Man is that he borrows a lot of stuff that is actually from Miles Morales' origin.
I was going to bring that up,
So they use a lot of the like kind of at the gifted school thing which they take from Miles.
Yeah.
And they Ned Leeds is basically Genki from Miles' story.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether would it be interesting then to give Miles
Some of the Peter
the Harry
Parker story.
Osborn stuff.
Ooh.
You give Miles the Harry Osborn, and you give Miles the Gwen Stacy stuff.
So almost the college years of Spider-Man in the
So
comics.
you're swapping.
You give him elements of that.
You're swapping elements over so that like
Yeah.
when they're eventually like when Miles and Peter are eventually together. Shut up! I knew that was coming.
This is the way you
I
said
really held back.
When
Don't
He keeps
delete
blipping
that.
us. He keeps blipping us.
When-
Silence
So that-
us.
You keep that in.
So when the two of them get together, you then have this mixture of elements of like what used to be a Miles thing but is now a Peter thing, and what used to
Keep
be a
that
Peter
out.
thing that was now a Miles thing. And I think that that's a good way
So that
to
when they get together, they're just all the same group.
yeah. And then you can introduce
That's
Miles
interesting.
to Harry, and Miles can become friends with Harry in a same way that like as like a mentor.
That will be interesting because Miles and Harry have extremely...
So Harry almost takes over the Peter Parker mentor role.
No.
Okay,
Like,
well, that might be-
So Harry becomes
Harry is Miles' Harry.
Harry is Miles' best friend instead of Peter's best friend.
Harry is the Genki.
Yes,
of.
because Ned
In
is
the way
his
that Ned is the
because
Harry.
Ned is
Yeah.
yeah. And then you can do those stories with Harry Osborn, but with Miles instead.
That would be interesting.
People might not like it.
People probably
but
wouldn't,
Fuck them.
but,
I don't
yeah.
care what people would
Let's
like.
try
I think
original
people
ideas.
had the same.
Yeah.
People had the same reaction to Ned being in
Yeah, and
Homecoming.
and now
to
you
be
think
fair,
about
People
Ned-
just don't like original ideas.
No.
Unironically.
the
'cause they're like,
alternative,
"Meh." My
which
childhood.
has its pros and cons, is that because they're all in college now, Ned can still be friends with Miles, and if anything, because he doesn't know Peter anymore, it's like
Well, what I was going to say is that like
It could be the
if I-
mentorship program almost, where it's like he's the guy from
I
MIT
think
that
I
comes
don't
to
want
school.
I don't want to overcomplicate things because like again during this time period there were MIT which is in Boston so
yeah.
like not
Oh
even,
yeah, true,
Yeah, but
true,
so that's why you
true.
can be like, or like at best.
I don't want to bring in MJ
not gonna
Right,
invite
I'm
you.
saying that if you do bring in Ned, there are ways to bring in Ned that doesn't complicate it too much.
Right.
Which is, he's at MIT. He is maybe a student that comes over to whatever school Miles is at and encourages students to go to MIT.
Maybe.
And that's it. Like,
That would
you,
be
you
one
can just have a
scene,
little,
but that
like,
would be
it's a
interesting.
scene.
I
at
would
best.
consider putting Miles in the same school that Peter was in from Homecoming.
I
I
would quite
would
like
want
that.
I would want
so then
that.
we continue with that school,
It's
but
still
we
the
now
whole
it's now like a
gifted kid,
completely
yeah.
and we
it's-
can bring back my favorite character, that really harrowed teacher.
Wow, which one is the Harrod?
the one who's like my wife. We thought my wife blipped. We had a fake funeral for her. Like, oh no, the funeral was real.
Yeah, he's just like going
Right.
through it. He's the best part of Far From Home because he's just having the worst time of
worst
his life.
time.
Can you tell I work in education? He's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I'm
I
sorry,
think-
this is Mal's appreciation hour for me. But can we just talk about the fact that Miles is legitimately a genius and that doesn't get talked about enough?
Yeah.
Because he could apparently talk in full sentences at age 3 or something, and then he could he's legitimate. He got into that charter school.
New plan. We have him as 5-year-old. He's completely eloquent.
Like he is legitimately insanely smart. And I feel like not enough people appreciate that about him.
I think that's what I think. Like sending him to that school and having that be like he's basically Peter, but in a much younger, like kind of he's like a new generation of that school, right? You see how things are the same, how things are changed, but then also you can deal with the fact that like Peter Parker in Homecoming never felt like he didn't belong at the school. He just felt that he didn't fit in with the kids that were there. Yeah. I think you can still do Miles's whole thing of like, Miles doesn't want to be at the gifted school, but but his parents have pushed him to go there because he is this genius.
He wants to be a lot more normal than he is, but he just happens to be quite gifted.
He literally gets a scholarship or wins a lottery. I'm not going to name names,
but I think we all know people who are, especially in school, were much smarter than they actually let on. Because they wanted to fit in more. They wanted to fit in more. And that's who I see Miles as, is somebody who would have downplayed how academically
that's how he is in Spider-Verse. He literally intentionally does the quiz backwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, it's all that kind of stuff where it's like I really just need more time to figure out who I am.
I think that would make it interesting because someone like Harry, who isn't not smart, but oftentimes is portrayed like because
he has a complex because of his father a lot of the time.
Harry doesn't belong. He's been paid.
He's paid his way in while Miles got the scholarship. So it would be that's the thing that I was going to bring up, is that having Harry be the new Genki is interesting because they have such opposing backgrounds. And Peter also has that, but with Miles it's like significantly different.
Yeah.
And so it's like
they can bond how they both think they shouldn't be at this school, but for very different reasons.
Because Harry, no matter how smart an iteration of Harry I'm a Harry Osborn. I just really want him to be in the MCU, man.
I'm Harry
Osborn. Sorry.
Okay.
The genius.
He's always felt inferior to Peter because no matter how smart he is written as, Peter is always written smarter. Mm-hmm. And so having that with Miles, who I personally believe is potentially, he's younger, so it's harder to tell, but he's potentially would be smarter than Peter. It's not getting picked up. Potentially would be smarter than Peter. That would be a very interesting dynamic because we don't know what kind of Norman Osborn we're gonna have yet. But it would be interesting to see a Norman Osborn who, if he has also done the whole American dream thing. I don't want Harry to be white if we do this. This is just my thing.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, there's you have a weird fan casting for...
So I think that Coleman Domingo, who plays Norman Osborn in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man,
interesting.
Show,
oh yes, yeah.
Makes for a very good Norman because he's very charming in a way that you then go, oh fuck, but
there's underlying sinister element,
which would be great.
I think a lot of so if we're doing the whole Harry thing and building up to Norman, it's an interesting way of doing the characterization of someone through the legacy of them in the trauma of another person.
What does that sentence mean?
It's so we're seeing stuff about Norman through how Harry has complexes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So we're learning things about an off-screen character who is probably going to be a bigger deal later down the line through what Harry is like.
I think
kind of like how you learn what Flash's parents are like without ever meeting them.
Exactly.
I think it's
or how they did bits of Doom in different bits of comics. It's okay. I
think it's interesting because I think that if Norman were to meet Miles, if we make Norman someone who pulled himself up from a working class background by his bootstraps and did a startup and I'm describing my own father, but you get what I mean. He achieved the American dream moments before it stopped being achievable for an entire generation. I think Harry being hyper aware of this and meeting someone like Miles, who he knows for a fact his father would respect more than him, because of his like background and how much he's already done at the age of like 17 or whatever, would be interesting, because it would be like, oh, we're friends, but I'm always going to feel that point of inferiority about you. And that is similar to his relationship with Peter. Can I pitch an idea? So we did that. I like the idea of the Harry Osborn stuff. I think that would definitely rage bait a lot of fans, but I think in a good way, where it's like, hey, maybe it's time to go out of your comfort zone a little bit. The same way that I think
people got rage baited by the MJ stuff, and then other people went, whoa, that cooks.
I think people are going to get rage baited by the existence of Miles Morales regardless.
Yeah.
So I think, whatever, right? Let's I'll fucking do anything.
If people got mad at, like, Jon Stewart in Lanterns, they're gonna get mad.
People got mad at Jon Stewart in Lanterns?
Yeah, there's some real fucking LARPers that are out there going, like...
hello.
Like, Green Lantern is white! And then it's like,
hello, the racist department calling.
You clearly haven't seen Stranger Things.
Racism.
Yeah.
I think for a majority of a Miles Morales movie, he should refuse the call to power as much as possible.
Yes.
I think it literally needs to push him to the point where he has to, like, throw on, like, a random mask he finds in a store and save his mother or something. Because he is like, I don't need to be Spider-Man. There's 50 million superheroes at an entire X-Men school, I assume, out there.
His dad's dead.
No, not yet.
Hold on. His dad's dead, which leads more into the indifference of his character, right? Where he's kind of dealing with the emotions of a dead parent.
Do we want his dad dead?
I want his dad to die later.
I think dad dead near the beginning.
Really?
Right? And then indifference, which kind of is exacerbated by the dead parent thing. So there's already the, I don't really want to be at this school. Then it's the, I don't like what's going on in life in general. And then it's a hold on, call to action, mum in danger moment.
The only thing about killing the dad early on is that we're depriving ourselves of Jefferson Davis, who is a great character. I
think he is a great character. I think my main thing with that is I think you can get a lot of mileage in the same way that you have realistically about 25 minutes of Uncle Ben in the original Tobey Maguire. And then 2, I think it's a great way of just saying, this is not the Spider-Verse movies. This is a different Miles Morales.
I think there's 2 ways to go here, because on one hand, it is interesting to put Miles through the paces of your standard Spider-Man origin story film, because Tom Holland's Spider-Man notably didn't get that.
Especially when doing the whole Harry is his
But
friend.
on the other hand, I agree, I love Jeff. And also, Miles is, notably someone who doesn't have a call to power in relation to one of his relatives dying. If anything, his mom dying in the comics makes him stop being Spider-Man until he is forced to, because Doomsday happens.
Like, I find that the dynamic of having both being one of the few heroes who has both parents alive and, like...
A loving family.
A loving family to go back to. And then that makes the need to keep his identity secret far more, like, up.
This is
because, like,
urgent.
they will stop him from
I actually think if we kill Jeff later, that can be him trying to stop being Spider-Man.
What about this? What if we treat Jeff...
Spider-Man 2, I'm done. I'm done, this causes this.
What if we treat Jefferson Davis like Gwen Stacy's dad in Amazing Spider-Man 1? Where he dies kind of at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then that's the, oh shit, I have to keep doing this, but I have to make a lot of sacrifices in my...
Or it's just like his dad, like, wherever we get to with a story, his dad can figure out that, oh my god, Miles, it's been you. And then he's like, Dad, I'm so sorry, I didn't know this was going to happen. And then his dad basically urges him to keep going and is like, you'll do great things. This is one of those great things. I don't want you to stop just because this happened.
What's also significant... sorry.
Let me. Just especially if you've had a character that's been so, like, indifferent throughout the entire movie, and you've maybe had a dad going, okay, my kid just doesn't engage with anything. Yeah. And then suddenly you see him in his prime as Spider-Man, doing all of this stuff, and then that's just what he, like, it's almost oh my god, my son's doing something. Yeah. Please keep doing the thing that you clearly care about, even if you're about to have the most traumatic moment with me possible.
I think that very soon we should actually get into the plot of the movies. But also, like, in terms of a spider suit for him, I like the idea of the costume thing. For the first time that he's doing something, I think I would like to see a spider. You know how Homecoming had the homemade suit.
Yeah.
I think a genuine like Miles Morales homemade suit that we see him make in school, like with the workshop and stuff like that, and sewing and doing all of that stuff, or maybe he does it under the guise of like, I'm doing it for the school play, or I'm doing it for a Halloween thing, is how he gets around all these teachers being like, what are you doing? And that way, like, we can have him make a suit that is not as good as the Tom Holland suits, especially, and it's still not as good as like the Brand New Day suit that we're about to see.
No, it's quite Amazing Spider-Man levels.
Yeah, but like, I want it to be a suit that you could actually envision somebody making for themselves. It's like a, it's like a.
I think that's the main disconnect with Amazing Spider-Man in my head, where it's like he clearly is going through a montage where he's building his suit,
and then he builds,
and then it's the most like high tech one that's like out there. Like the Tom Holland version looks less high tech than.
Well, I like the homemade suit in the Tom Holland movie.
Well, not even. I'm talking just the Stark Tech version of this suit looks more homemade.
So, like, I think that it should look like a costume that a cosplayer could make for relatively cheap. And still look good on camera. I think the one thing that we should do with Miles is not have the eyes that move at all. That's good.
Interesting.
That can be the big thing that separates Tom Holland's Peter Parker from Miles.
Yeah,
is that a lot of the Miles acting then becomes in the movement of the body.
I would say though, with the Tom Holland version, he already is doing a lot of body movement. Plus so I feel like it's arguably, this is getting very pedantic on just a costume, but like it's sort of just like one fewer resource for an actor to use.
I think that's fine. I think
fine because I think the majority of this he'll be without a mask anyway.
Yeah, I think there are other ways of creating differences outside of the eyes.
I just think it's one of those ones that I personally like. I think like I like the Tom Holland's glasses movement for when that was introduced, because it was meant to be so different from the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield one.
But if it keeps being the consistent, this is the new thing.
Yeah,
it loses that.
And I think that like. I also
like
like
the Iron Man nanotech.
Yeah, I also like the idea that that when Miles is making his suit, like when Tom Holland is making his suit, his homemade suit has those goggles on it that are specifically there to inhibit his vision, so that his senses aren't super dialed up. Yeah. And I like the idea that Miles is dealing with a different set of problems that he's trying to solve, and so doesn't have the need for the moving lenses, and so just doesn't build them in. And maybe because the only photos of Spider-Man that he sees are photographs instead of videos, he's just like, oh, the lenses.
I like the idea of him, like, even if he doesn't use the lenses in the end, just trying to, like, recreate the lenses. Just being like, how does it work?
Yeah.
And just, like, fucking around with
I think, so I was gonna say that I like the idea of him definitely trying to build his own suit. I don't know if we're going to have Harry find out in this movie.
I don't think so.
No.
But if we were, it would be interesting as a character thing to have him be like, I built you poured all my money into building you a suit, and Miles refusing to use it.
I think that could be a Miles Morales, like, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a...
That's a Chekhov's gun that I think if we do a Hobgoblin route,
I think Harry has to be obsessed with Miles' Spider-Man by the end of this movie.
Oh, for sure.
But it's not in a I know Miles Morales is Spider-Man way.
Well, we can't echo Flash too much.
How would this be echoing Flash?
Flash is
obsessed with Spider-Man.
Flash Thompson. Right, my brain went so far. It went to DC Flash.
You're stupid.
Flash Thompson.
Also, the last entire section in the chapter will be called The Spider-Man Eyes or some shit.
The Spider-Man Eyes. The Spider-Man Eyes situation is insane.
Anyway, so let's actually get to how Miles has his powers, and like roughly when did he get them?
So I think
I know a good intro scene.
I thought of one a while. I thought of one on my way here, so I'll just get it off my chest. I do think that for the intro, going off of the comics could be interesting because, as we mentioned before, the Prowler breaks into Oscorp.
I was going to say the exact same thing,
and the whole sneaking in thing. I think it would be interesting to open up with either some like, I was going to say EQ. That's not what I mean to say. Some like, those like, what are they called?
business
conferences, and one of the businesses is Norman Osborn getting up and doing a whole thing about Oscorp. We're going to try and like build performance enhancing whatever the fuck, and them getting shut down verbally by the investors.
I think a good way to not do Norman, but to basically do the exact same beats, is to do something like how they do the Evil Company in Watch Dogs 2, where it's more of a, like, here is a press junket of what our company is doing right now.
Yeah, and there's
Why
just a
not do
spokesperson.
Norman?
Because I think it's better if you just don't show Norman for this one episode.
I don't think anyone should ever meet Norman, but I think having him show up and not necessarily having him say who he is, just putting him there.
I feel like it's too much too soon. And also,
No, but I think you... Okay, but...
I want there to be like a proper, like, the action beat is Prowler breaking in. So it's almost like a...
that is exactly...
Yeah.
So
and I think
when I finish my
Oscorp,
pitch, I will explain.
Wait. The only way I can get this to get around to you, you know how Zack Snyder is in that one episode of The Studio, but you actually don't focus on him being at the Oscars?
Yeah.
That's how you do Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
So he's never in focus on thing. He's on stage. He's very clearly... Maybe he is still played by Coleman Domingo, but he's very clearly... You can't see him.
He comes across like a side character.
He's talking.
Or almost like every, like, mid-2000s film where they want to do Barack Obama, but they don't want to show Barack Obama.
Yeah. And he's trying to do like a Steve Jobs, and maybe he's even trying to do a Tony Stark style, like, big Stark Expo presentation.
You could do it from the perspective of the Prowler in the conference.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
So it begins with some stupid talking points, just like human limitation, blah blah blah, rule of three word. These are things that we have to deal with in everyday life. Blah blah blah. With our new serum, something will help eliminate like chronic illness. Blah blah. They're trying to go at it from a healthcare angle, but obviously we know Norman Osborn better than that. And as the movies go along, we will understand that he's making a super soldier serum.
Yeah.
All these, while he's saying all of this, his words are literally accented by the sound effects of a lock being picked, of Prowler sneaking into the Oscorp lab, which
Donald
at
Glover.
this point in time hasn't been funded enough to be like a big high-tech thing. It's literally like a weed farm kind of level of operation.
Yeah.
And not weed farm, but
Well,
you
it's,
get...
but like, it's almost like a... Donald Glover's Prowler is doing this before the tech gets so...
Yeah, exactly.
Immense in this building that...
So we are hearing a younger Norman Osborn desperately trying to pitch this thing to investors that are like, I don't see the point in this. This sounds like how are you going to get by this with human experimentation? He's like, spiders! And they're like, spiders? And then he's like breaking down whatever like chemical makeup about spiders we can sci-fi fuck about with in the lore. Yeah. And as that is happening, he's passing a tank of spiders. He's not looking for that tank because in the comics he's actually after the formula itself. Whether or not he actually manages to steal the formula, we then follow a spider that goes into his handbag. It goes into his little clutch purse.
This little man bag.
And his
Donald Glover would fuck with a man.
He would, but with the Prowler.
What do you mean is a duffel bag?
Yeah, thank you.
But like, I can see Prowler, Donald Glover fucking with a man bag.
All that jazz, and all that jazz happens. Maybe an alarm goes off. Maybe he just about makes it out. Maybe he even drops the serum on his way out, so he doesn't even actually get to achieve his thing. So he is then set up to have to go back for it later. But the point being is when he leaves that warehouse, the spider is with him, and we are also learning about Oscorp stuff. We don't even need to necessarily be told that it's Oscorp yet. And then after that, and the thing is one reason I would like to have Jeff around alive, at least for a bit, is because his whole thing is that he doesn't like Miles interacting with his brother, but Miles does anyway. Because he is a known criminal. So I think, like, Miles interacting with him is what's gonna get him bitten, so whatever, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, that's my pitch for the opening. And then after that, it can cut to, I don't know, Miles' first day of school. Miles is already at the school. Something is happening. I think, actually, it should cut from the whole Norman Osborn desperately trying to do his pitch to Miles doing a school project, like presentation.
He's talking in front of the class. Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah.
and whatever he is pitching...
Is this Miles at his new school?
Subconsciously teeing up the whole Harry seeing Norman in...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Miles is doing all of this thing. Maybe he's a bit nervous. Maybe he's not, like, super great in front of with public speaking, blah, blah, blah. He's clearly incredibly smart, but he keeps going on all these tangents about the, like, scientific bullshit about everything. And despite the fact, but he is at a magnet school, so everyone there is smart. So it is literally his charisma that would get him, like, get their attention at this point. And so he fumbles it, despite the fact the teacher's like, that was great, Miles, thank you. Miles has clearly fumbled it. Everyone around him is judging him. And maybe he goes to sit down or something, and Harry is next to him, and it's like, your idea was actually kind of sick, bro. And that's how they sort of get talking.
You could do the...
that's their meet cute.
Yeah, you could do the... It's like day 2 or 3 of starting at school. So
it can even be Miles being like, the lenses on Spider-Man's mask, how do they fucking work? Because they'd have to censor the fact that his eyes close, blah, 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 blah.
I think
and then he sits, and kids are like, I don't fucking care about Spider-Man's eyes.
No, I think what you do is that Harry is like, dude, your ideas are great and all, but like, you are terrible at pitching things.
And then people are like, what do you know about pitching?
And then Harry's like, look, man, you just need a bit more showmanship for this thing. Like, how about, like, next time we have there's a project or something.
Yeah.
We work together. We both come up with the ideas, but like, I do the majority of the pitching, and that way I can make your ideas look as good as possible.
And it's also clearly this is my safe ticket into getting
good grades.
Good grades.
Yeah.
But it's
and Miles
my
initially
parent
said, maybe Miles is initially, like, apprehensive about it, but maybe, like, some competition or project or something is coming up. And for him, it's like this would look great on my CV, or this would make my parent, I don't know, like something, it's like a catalyst for him in a personal way where he's like, oh, I would love to do this, but I'm horrible at pitching. And so he goes to Harry and he's like, all right, help me be good at presenting things. Like, help me. There has to be a keyword. He has to be like, you gotta have charisma. You gotta have swagger.
You gotta have grit.
You gotta have grit.
And then
he goes up to him later and he's like, help me grit. And he's like, what? And then that becomes the thing that people online make jokes about for the rest of time. That pisses me off. And he's like, help me grit, Harry.
It's the new hey. It's the new hey.
Oh, that's the new hey. Are you leaving?
So has Miles already been bitten by this point?
I think,
or not?
I think it's a this is like night 1 break-in, morning of the next day.
Right.
Night 2 will be the bite of 87.
I think that before he goes to see Harry, he maybe goes to see his uncle first.
Yeah.
And similar to the like hey scene, it's sort of just I don't know how to be.
I need someone at school has told me I need grit. I'm going to go to the person who has the most charisma in the family, because everyone else is basically a dweeb in
he's
some
like,
way. He's like,
Uncle Aaron, you have to help me have Riz, and Aaron's like, what the fuck is Riz? In fact, we can have that exact conversation.
So like,
that's probably too late by then.
I like the idea of like Donald Glover panicking that he's now got this formula and he doesn't know how to sell it off or something.
Yeah,
and then his fuck ass kid shows up at his door being like, Uncle, I need grit.
Yeah.
And then,
but I like that because then his uncle can have a human moment of sitting with him and being like, look, the reason that you are struggling in this moment is because you think that for whatever reason you're inferior to them, but you have to remember that when you're the one standing there with the best idea in the room, you have to talk like you have the best idea in the room. And so it's like, fucking never apologize for being the smartest man in the room.
You can even have him be like, do you think that Norman Osborn is actually a genius, or do you think that he like
exactly.
And it's like, why are you talking about Norman Osborn a lot?
Yeah, he can
no
be
reason.
Yeah, he can be like,
do you think Tony Stark got off on genius alone?
Well, no, I was gonna say he could be like, not everyone is a Tony Stark level genius who has the money. Some people are what's the fucking Hammer? What's the Justin? Some people are just some people are just Justin Hammer. He's like, who the hell is Justin Hammer? It's like, look, he was a guy who was like,
it's not a Frank episode if we don't mention Hammer Tech.
And he's like, look, he had the same level of money and fame as Tony Stark, and the only thing he didn't have was the brains, but it didn't matter because he knew how to sell. And he would say, and like, the majority of people out there will get by because they can sell you an idea rather than have an idea that's better than everyone else's. But if you if you realize that your idea is better than everyone else's, it will sell itself because you will believe in it.
Yeah, something like that. And then he sort of
Or
goes...
something.
Or
Yeah.
something. And then he goes
I'm
to...
realizing the parallels with Ironheart the more we talk about this.
There'll be
Kind
parallel.
of.
The thing
Where's
is
the
every
whole-
single comic origin story will
has a
always
parallel
ultimately
in some
teach
way,
you
shape,
the
or
same
form.
thing, which is that you are an everyday hero
Yeah.
inside. So,
Maybe you don't have all the tools to make
think-
it, but you can try anyway.
yeah, I think sometime in this scene he gets bitten. I don't think it should be a big deal. I know this is similar to how it happens in Spider-Verse, where like he gets bitten and then he's like, oof. I mean, that's a really cool animation sequence before that, but you know, get me. I think him just being like, ow, and what's his name? Aaron not being around to notice
I
that.
think. But what if he's bit and he's like, "Ow, what was that?" Looks down. There's a spider. And it freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it's like Miles is scared of Miles is
Yeah.
like scared
Oh.
of spiders in a way that he's like. And then when he's like, "Oh my god, I'm becoming Spider-Man." Oh,
Oh, maybe
So
it's like practicing
Prowler's
his
out the
speech
room.
or something.
Aaron's out the room, maybe doing like
Yeah.
washing up.
maybe
or-
maybe. Or, you know, talking about how he's going to get the formula off his hands.
Yeah, Aaron
we
gets
would
a
do that with
call.
Miles.
Like a
I think we
fire
would
or
do that with
something.
Miles in the
But
room.
Aaron
like
gets
that.
a phone call. He's like,
Yeah.
I gotta take
I'm going to
this.
say this.
Why don't you, like, just chill for a bit? Miles is practicing...
Hello, son of a police officer. Please, I'm just going to go in the other room while
Yeah.
I do my illegal business deal.
Yeah.
Miles, maybe... We can even see some environmental storytelling around us of, like, things about the Prowler or whatever the fuck. Miles is practicing whatever speech he has where he's like... And then, like, mid-sentence, he's like, ah! Because there's a spider. Sorry if I peeked the mic. I probably
fine.
did. He gets bitten.
Happens.
He, like, freaks the fuck out. And then... This would be a moment for him to, like, accidentally knock over and see the vial that is the formula but not know what it is yet. And Aaron walks in and is like, what's up? And he's like, oh, there was a spider or whatever. Aaron sees that the, like, vial's been knocked over, and he kind of ushers Miles out of the house as soon as possible because he doesn't want to risk anything. So he's like, you should get out of here. He wants to protect Miles, so Miles knowing anything would be bad. So then that happens, and then the next sequence is the typical Spider-Man origin story. Oh, I'm sweaty. What's going on? I'm going through puberty again. Blah, blah,
And maybe
blah.
Aaron's initially worrying that he's
Well, Aaron's
he's
not.
having
He
a-
has to
not there.
hide from his parents that even saw Aaron, so he can't even
him
say.
out of the room
Yeah,
because of the.
gets him out
then
of
the-
his house.
But I can see them, like, let's say they're in, like, Central Park or something, and then he's getting the cold sweats.
Why would he
Why
be
would
in
they
Central-
be in Central Park?
Just because they've run out of the building, right?
No, Aaron's,
Aaron's
getting
getting
him
him-
away from him. Like Aaron's like, you should go
He's
home.
kicking Miles out and going
Oh,
pretending
okay.
to
This is
Yeah,
like the
miscommunication.
evening,
I
yeah.
thought you said we need to leave the building because of chemicals.
No.
dropped on the floor.
No.
He doesn't want
Right.
Miles to know anything. So I'm literally thinking his bag, his little purse tips over and the, like, a really obvious looking vial comes out, but Miles doesn't know what that is yet.
You need to go.
It's like a surprise tool that'll help us
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, he's like, you should get home. Your parents will start
Yeah.
asking questions and stuff. And he's
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
yeah, fair enough. And then he
And I don't
goes.
want to deal
And then
with
he
that.
goes home, we notably see him be like, oh, I was hanging out with some friends. He does not have any friends at school yet. And so his mom and dad are like, oh, we're just happy that he's making
Yeah.
friends.
Who are
and
these
then he
new
goes,
friends?
And then he's like, I'm feeling really nauseous, so I'm just gonna go straight to bed. And then we have the whole sequence of spider shit happening
He could
to
be
him.
lying. He could be embellishing the relationship he had with Harry. Well, after that, they may be quite inquisitive. That their kid has
Maybe he
friends.
uses Harry as
It's
an
like
excuse,
I was hanging out.
I'm hanging out with my friend. Like, oh, you made a friend? Like, who is that? And he was like, oh, his name's Harry. He's just, like, in my business class. And then he, like, goes, and then Spider-Man bite shit happens to him. He doesn't know what's happening. I think at first it is just he has a fever.
Yeah.
And then the next morning he wakes up and we can do the typical, accidentally stronger than he thinks he is. Accidentally whatever. And I think it could happen at school, but that was very similar to Spider-Verse, which is why I'm, like, opening this up to
It's very
something
similar
else.
to Tobey Maguire stuff as well.
I mean, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, but there's the whole, like, I'm missing the bus and then being able to run and catch up to the bus.
Yeah.
I
So
think
maybe
that
it's
the
maybe it's a
cafeteria
field
stuff-
trip or something.
I think instead of the like sticky hand stuff that you got from Spider-Verse, we should highlight the different powers that Miles has.
Yeah.
So I think Miles should not even realize that he's becoming Spider-Man because he's getting different sets of powers first.
Yeah.
So he's got like electricity powers and like even electricity powers are the first ones to come through, right? And then he's like, he clearly sees that it's going on, and it's instead of like telling anyone about it, his first thought is going into the science lab and like checking the voltage on the amount of the electricity that's
Oh,
coming
yeah,
out.
if they-
Like, blows a circuit or something,
yeah,
testing.
like creating like a circuit that has like an ammeter and a resistance meter and all these different things, and just testing to see like, okay, how bad is it? Oh, is this going to? Is this lethal? Is this like enough to stun something? Can I charge my phone with this thing?
Yeah.
What is it? And then like that's then how you kind of show that he's different from Peter and different from Spider-Verse Miles, who's panicking. Is that he's smart enough to go, whoa, I am in a world with superheroes. I must be one of these superheroes.
Yeah.
Cool. What do my powers? And he was like,
I've worked out a good pair-up scene with like the morning realizations, which is you've probably got Harry like waking up in the morning and then seeing his dad fumble around getting panicked that his quite vital formula to his upstarting company is missing.
I think we have that as a background. Like, if you are not zoned in on his dad, it can almost just come across
maybe
as
like subconscious
he's
info.
A business dad, he's doing business things and he's neglecting his son. But if you listen to his conversation in the background, it's like yeah.
And the beats emotionally are my dad won't hang out with me at breakfast, and realistically it's his dad is having the worst company day of his life.
The thing is I'm kind of growing more and more into the idea of Harry low-key finding out that something is up with Miles, because the like him testing the like, I don't know why I'm imagining, you know, the like potato circuit experiment that you do, just him like absolutely frying this potato in the process, and Harry seeing it happen but not quite understanding what's going on.
I like the idea of him being alone in a room, basically causing an electric explosion, and then a teacher running into the room to see what's up.
The teacher.
Yeah, the teacher, sure, from Homecoming.
What's his name?
And then he's turned invisible, like that's what's jump-started his like chameleon power at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's conveniently making sure that he doesn't get in trouble for basically just causing a bomb explosion in a room, essentially.
Yeah, I like the idea.
2 in 1.
Yeah.
2 in 1 for power.
Maybe Miles, maybe they sort of have a thing where it's like Miles almost gets in trouble for something because he's trying to test out these powers, almost burns down a room or something, and Harry comes to his rescue in a way of like being like, I want to get close to this kid, and also something is fucking weird about this kid.
Maybe Harry gets in trouble instead.
Yeah, so Harry's just
Harry's
like,
the only
sorry,
one left in the
me.
room that isn't invisible.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, and he can, maybe he knows something is up. Miles accidentally turns invisible, but Harry takes the fall on purpose, and he's like, my dad will cover the cost of the lab, or whatever. And then later, Miles has to kind of go, because Miles has a heart of gold, he has to go up to him and be like, thank you for doing that, but why did you do that? And that's the sort of start of their actual friendship.
Yeah.
It's like, Harry has consistently been nice to him this whole time. But because he's Harry, like, we as the audience aren't sure how genuine he is.
I think his real motivation can be as simple as, like, Harry knows that he's quite a boring person. Like, Harry Osborn, he's like, I don't actually have that much going on.
And so this is the coolest thing happening in his life.
This is like someone I know might have superpowers.
Everyone keeps telling me that Dad's doing something really cool right now, but realistically, I find that boring as shit.
Yeah.
And this is something happening
it's
right now.
Being a rich kid means nothing when superpowers exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the beginning of a second film with them, with him being like, I have a surprise for you. I made you a suit. And Miles being like, I don't want to use that suit. Yeah.
I quite like.
No, thank you. What do you mean? This cost $1 billion.
Like, the thing with Ned and Tom Holland Spider-Man, where like he's just asking him all the questions about like how did like the spider stuff happen?
Yeah.
And he's just like telling him, oh well, it's this, and this, and I've already figured it all out, so there's nothing to do. It's good. But, like, I'm thinking more of in the Shazam movie, the first one.
Not familiar, still haven't watched it.
So, in that, like, he gets powers, and his adopted, and the, like, foster brother that he has, there's basically a huge montage of them just testing out the Shazam powers.
Yes, I do remember that.
And, like, I think that you can do something very similar to that, where it's just them two in school, any chance they get. Like, not even focusing on, like, fighting crime necessarily, but just going through the thing of like, okay, so you've got lightning powers and you can sometimes turn invisible, but you don't quite know how that works. How far can you make the lightning go?
This is the catalyst to the montage, is them talking after that experiment.
Yeah.
And then it's
a whole montage of fun shit happening.
It's almost the Spider-Man skateboard moment from Amazing Spider-Man.
but better because that.
But it's essentially the same, like,
It's
25 minutes in beat.
Yeah, it's like a bestie montage of them getting closer and also them working out the power stuff. I like the end of that montage because this can be a nice departure from Ned, and also more of a Harry thing is him being like, this is so cool, you can do this, oh my god, we could start a podcast, and Miles having to sort of be like, yeah, I'm not so sure, like,
in
he doesn't want to
no way should you advertise that I am.
He doesn't want to lose his new friend, but he also does not want to fucking do it.
We could do something like that.
It's like, we could franchise this. He's thinking like a businessman.
Yeah. And then Harry's basically pitching this new Spider-Man concept.
No, I don't think that it should be something as stupid. I don't think Harry would be doing something as stupid as, like, you should be a celebrity. But I think that he would be pitching, like, oh man, you could, like, be a new superhero in town.
That's mainly what I mean.
And Miles is like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah. So it's like,
I don't feel like I need to. We have Spider-Man.
Yeah, we have like a million. We can even call like essentially become genre aware in that moment where Miles can be like, there are like 50 superheroes out there right now. I do not need to be one.
And if we need another superhero, I'm probably the worst candidate. My dad is a cop. This is not going to go well.
Yeah,
and so he's like, look, this is cool and all, but I don't want to use this. And it's essentially Harry being like, Harry's moral dilemma now is, I have a friend, which is kind of cool, but my friend could be cooler.
Yeah. And it's also like, Harry thinks
and Harry's like, I have a friend, but my friend keeps on trying to convince me that this is a brilliant...
My friend wants me to start a superhero TikTok.
Yeah, but I was thinking that, like, Harry wants to, like...
I do think we could start a podcast should be there. No. But it's not like giving away his identity. Just be like, I'm here with the new Superman.
Letterbox list thing where it's like, bodies. What's the other one with the that's Avenue Q, but we can't. That's not a film. So it's Miles Morales, bodies, and it's the we should start a podcast double billing.
Right. So. Anyway, to pull you back,
the most S&D you've ever been.
Yeah, I still think it could. It's more of a gag thing than an actual like thing that he would follow up on. But him just being like, "Yo, I could start a podcast, and I'm interviewing the new Spider-Man." And Miles is like, "No,
I am not the new Spider-Man."
No, I don't think there should ever even be this early on a hint that he's Spider-Man, because he's got nothing in common with Spider-Man in terms of powers. I think we should give him organic webbing. I think we should, and
I think the Spidey sense.
But that's like the final set of powers that he gets.
Is it the end of the montage, or is it way later?
No, as in like it's like halfway through the movie.
I think he's essentially going through spider puberty over the course of this film.
We're real, like what we've listed out right now. I think we're like at mark 22 minutes in, roughly.
Yeah.
So let's say it's like a 2 hour 25, roughly.
Maybe.
That kind of feel. So what would the midpoint be?
I think that
like 1 hour 15 basically is when it gets
right. I think he should I think that he should like even learn the climbing walls thing a little bit later than everything.
That's what I'm saying.
And because we said that there's a point where Spider-Man shows up in like the peripheral saving him, maybe even this will be similar to Spider-Verse, but the thing is I think that could be his moment of, oh wait, holy shit, we have the same thing going on. Because they both realize they have Spidey sense in a way. And this is one thing that like they kind of touched on in Far From Home, but that I've always wanted any Spider-Man adaptation to do more of, is that I feel like having the Spidey sense would be like a sensory nightmare on the daily. So I think that once Miles realizes he has that, it's the kind of thing where it's like he is just getting it for the first time and learning to adjust to it. And so he has to wear like sunglasses outside, and then so it's that is a moment of like his uncle catching on to something is up.
The first 2 days is almost like we get the cool new powers, which means
then
that he can still go about, and then it becomes like actually debilitating.
So he's like wearing earmuffs in summer, and he's like, I just don't want to like this, and I think his parents have like a brief conversation of like, is he drinking? Do we have to like have an intervention? And then Aaron, who knows him maybe a little better, sort of starts noticing that something is up with him.
I think you could even have a scene where the parents reach out, like Jeff reaches out to Aaron,
like asking if he's been giving him alcohol on the side.
No, I don't think he's like asking. He's like, look, I'm worried that Miles has been coming home and he's been looking very rough recently. And he's like, I don't want to say he's hungover, but he's got a look about him that looks like he's been drinking or something. Do you know anything that's going on? Because, like, I'm worried about him, and I know you care about him too. Yeah. Like, I won't be mad if you've been hanging out with him. Just let me know what's going on.
Or even just Aaron being like, look, I don't know anything about that. And he's like, I'm not going to ask if you know anything about that, but can you talk to him? Yeah. And then Aaron gets ready to, like, have a sit down with him. And this is something I've been going back and forth on this whole episode. I'm wondering if Aaron should try the serum himself.
I was thinking something, or like...
So Spider-Man Miles has had the bite. And then, so Prowler has the serum, and that's what gives
and the serum
Prowler...
would just make him super soldier.
How does Prowler's powers work in the comic?
It depends.
It's mostly
is it usually a suit?
Mostly the suit,
have there ever been, like, bio versions of him?
Suit is... No, there's never been bio versions of him, but the suit is sometimes stolen, sometimes... I don't know if they even explain where it's from in the version I read.
Right.
I don't remember if they do.
I think you could do a thing where the serum is only temporary.
Yeah, so, that could be a experimental version of it. So the suit
that he wears is designed to, like, drip feed the serum into him at a constant, slow rate. So that he's not, like, Captain America levels of strong.
But it's still kind of the super soldier through line of the MCU, just in this is now a weaker potency version of the drug.
Yeah.
It could even be mentioned at some point, either on Harry/Norman's side or whatever, that, like, the serum needs to bind with animal DNA in some way in order to actually be potent enough, which is why to be permanent, which is why Miles gets that version of it, but Aaron doesn't.
What is Prowler supposed to be, like, an animal allegory of?
He's not. He just has claws, like synthetic.
So it's literally just I'm vaguely a cat.
It's just it's just the suit that he wears in order to. He's, like, already a thief, but in this world where superheroes exist, in order to be an effective thief, you kind of have to have a thing. Yeah. But he is almost always, like, stealing from Oscorp.
So I think it would be a good fun scene is, like, Aaron Davis trying to give Miles a, like, don't do drugs, kid.
Yeah, and then slowly over the course of the talk realizing what it actually is.
And Miles is like, and seeing that Miles, like, the always like, look, man, I understand that there can be, you know, there's just, like, your friend, there's people who look like your friends, but they might be pressuring you to do things you don't want to do. And Miles is like, yeah. And then he's like, and one of those things, you know, especially when I was a kid, was like, you know, alcohol and, like, maybe some other stuff. And you have that kind of conversation where Miles is then goes like, oh, and then you can clearly see that Aaron knows Miles enough to know that, like, he's completely off base in terms of what the problem is.
He's never going to predict a supernatural spider bit you.
Yeah, but he's then like, the peer pressure thing is hitting home.
But he's like, as he's like midway through being like going on a spiel about how bad like alcohol and drugs can be, especially for someone of his age. You can see you can see Aaron like slowly losing steam with what he's saying and being like, "And that's not relevant to you at all, is it?" And he's like, "No." And it's like, "Okay." There is something.
Hospital.
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, "There is something. Are you ill or like what's going on?" And he can be like, "I don't know, man. I think it's puberty." And he's like, "Aren't you like 14?" He's like, "Yeah, well, it's still happening."
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, I think certain aspects of it
just
systematically hit home, like
pains and that's it.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"What do you mean growing pains?"
He's like, "I'll go for a growth
Miles
spurt."
can maybe even pivot and be just like, have you ever like, I don't know, felt like you should be doing more like good things in life, but you haven't? And he's and Aaron, the ex-felon, is sitting there like, yes. And Miles can just be like, I have a friend, and he's like sort of like telling me that I should like, I have the potential to do more, but like I don't really want to do more, blah blah. And Aaron can either start putting the pieces
Aaron
together.
Can relate to that quite a lot. If like his Jefferson relationship.
Exactly.
No, even better. Aaron can like talk to Miles about how like he had this run-in with Spider-Man this one time.
Oh,
where he was Spider-Man Homecoming.
And he's like, a couple of years ago, I'd fallen in with this bad crowd of people who were trying to sell me guns and shit that did like
you never guess who showed up. Who? Spider-Man.
And then he's like, and then it took like Spider-Man was very new at the time. You have to understand, and it took Spider-Man.
He was that guy from
talking
Germany.
to me about this stuff that like I had to make a decision for you, really, that I wanted to keep, like, guns and crime off of the streets that you were living in. And, you know, I did something good for once, and that made me feel like there was more I could do. So yes, there's more I could be doing. And that's the type of criminal that Aaron
and then my
is.
next bills came in. And I kind of regretted it.
Yeah, you can kill
Well, no,
him.
I think that Aaron is I always find Aaron more interesting when he started out as just a criminal doing regular crime stuff to make money, and then has realized okay, kind of like how Ant-Man is in pre getting the suit.
Yeah,
It's
Scott Lang is I was very principled once. And now I'm in this
But
group.
this is the other way around, where it's I was a criminal and now I have principles, but it doesn't stop me from doing crime. It just means I'm picking my targets much more carefully and making sure that I'm stopping what I think are going to be bad things from happening. And I think the serum can be something that he realizes he can't sell because he's been having conversations with people about selling it back or selling it to other people, and whenever he...
Well, all the buyers are clearly nefarious people in the MCU.
You can have things where, you can show scenes where he's having meetings with people, and they're clearly, those ex-Hydra people, or there's AIM, and then there's, where he's I can't sell it to any of you guys.
Oh, it was you guys from that time where you tried to kill the president, or it was you guys from that time...
Where you tried to take over Washington. You're okay.
Interesting.
And then I think eventually you can have, he's okay, well, maybe, what if I use this for myself to help me do more stuff? And then that makes him kind of I'm assuming we are going for Prowler is the villain of this movie.
Does he get a bit of a Green Goblin psychosis from the serum?
I don't think so.
I think he's legitimately just in debt and he's trying to get out.
What switches him to crime then?
He is on. No, but that's the thing, is that he's doing crime, but he's he's doing crime in the way that But
if he's the primary villain, I feel like you need a bit of reason for antagonism.
I have an idea. I think legitimately he wants to be out, and he keeps getting told, this is your last job, and then you'll be out, this is your last job, and then you'll be out, and he's reaching a breaking point with that. So the only way he can get out of it at this point
is to kill someone.
Is to essentially, kill whoever is holding it over his head.
And then maybe his moral compass is just kind of busted from there on out, because it's just, I had to kill those guys, because otherwise I was going to have to...
whoever runs that crime syndicate, I keep thinking of Kingpin. Have you guys done Kingpin in anything yet?
No, it's probably just because I don't really watch Daredevil new stuff, and I need to get around to it.
Fair enough.
We could do Kingpin here.
Kingpin could just be tangentially... He doesn't have to actually be in this film, but the idea that, he is... trying to build himself up into someone who can take down someone like Kingpin.
Right.
And that in of itself is kind of he's getting built up into this villain.
He can be look, man, I saw how dangerous someone like the Kingpin got with his anti-vigilante task force, and the fact that he was trying to hunt down Daredevil and Spider-Man.
This entire thing, but it's Norman Osborn has been trying to get him to maybe Norman has had him stealing shit his whole life to try and further his own company, and he keeps going
I don't know if Norman I don't think Norman
could have the facilities to track him down and be I know you stole the formula, now do something for me.
I don't okay hold on, I'm not sure that Norman should be criminal so early. I think Norman's more interesting when he's just kind of an evil businessman who operates within the law and then gets to a certain level and then becomes more unhinged.
I disagree a lot, because a lot of the original comic stuff is just he's always been good at front-facing as a good person and being quite objectively good. In the comics, I'm pretty sure he fucking kills his dog for an experiment at age 7.
I think we can find a middle ground.
If there's ever anyone who's actually born evil in the comics, it is kind of Green Goblin.
We can do a middle ground. We can do a middle ground of that, which is I like the idea of him. Maybe he's just incredibly well informed and connected, so he's not outright evil yet. But he is essentially... Maybe Prowler steals the serum, realizes he can't sell it, or the person who initially wanted it has been actually, no, we're abandoning our whole operation because Spider-Man's after us or whatever the fuck. And so now Prowler's in, heat because he's got the serum and he has nothing to do with it. And Norman calls him up and is I know you have my serum, and now I want you to do something for me. And whatever that thing is, maybe it is just petty crime, maybe it's just stealing or whatever. It's not killing. But
I think
the Prowler is stuck in this
pressuring
contract.
investors could be an interesting one.
So to real world parallel, Elon Musk, whenever he's getting rewarded for being that guy that cuts red tape, and then gets frustrated when he's not allowed to cut some new red tape.
Yeah.
Right.
It's this like he gets worse and worse every time because he's almost being rewarded in the press for being this guy that cuts through all of the bullshit.
Right.
And then
Right,
there's
yeah,
this like crossroad.
That's what I'm saying is that
now
like,
you can't do this.
Elon Musk thing doesn't work if Elon Musk is also doing like...
It's obviously not an exact one-for-one analogy. I'm just saying that there's real-world billionaires that have this kind of complex.
Yeah, but like,
I don't think he's a billionaire yet, though.
No, but okay.
Yeah.
Real-world millionaires and billionaires.
Right, but there is a big jump.
There's a big
It's a big jump
Yeah,
between
I think
millionaires.
not in
he's
terms of
like,
the complex
I think
itself.
Norman is someone
think
who sees himself as I'm going to become one of those people, but he doesn't have it yet. But I like the idea of him having the connections because he can essentially pressure Aaron, being like, "Oh, my son's good friends with Miles," and that puts Aaron in a spot because he knows that this guy has access to the most important person in his life, arguably.
Yeah.
So he has to do this
And then
shady. And I like the pressuring investors thing because then we can see in the news over time, like Oscorp has been given this much by this people. Oscorp has, and like Oscorp growing as a company
and
towards
Harry
the
talking
end.
about how like much more his dad's in his life suddenly.
Yeah.
Now that he's not, his dad doesn't seem as stressed. He seems to be.
Is the DODC like government like what's the government stuff in the MCU right now?
That's the Department of Damage Control.
Are there government institutions that could be like, okay, we're interested in this new Oscorp thing because it could be useful for
The Department of Damage
I
Control.
think
it's that one. So
I
we could
think
have a bit of like
Oscorp-
and now Oscorp is saved from any financial stress because of a military contract.
I think that would be a way later thing because I think initially he would pitch it as, but it's going to help chronic illnesses.
I think...
And then he changes the pitch later on.
I think that what he should be looking to get to is like, he's like, look, there's I want to get a contract with, like, getting a contract with the military is easy. They'll buy fucking anything.
Yeah.
Getting a contract with Sword or getting a contract with the Department of Damage Control, that's good for putting us on the map. The one that I really want is a contract with the new Avengers. That's something that says I am
I
important.
think that should be something said later, though, because I think he should initially pitch it as something not necessarily to do with fighting.
But I think that's in the same way that Homecoming's big thing is like the big score is when we get to steal all the stuff from Stark Tech.
Yeah.
The big like thing that he's getting towards is
the
like,
ambition.
I'm gonna get my foot in the door with the Avengers people.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be the one who supplies them with all of their tech, all of their gear. And then you can even start to build up to a Norman Osborn Iron Patriot scenario.
Yes, I like that.
Where in a later movie, when Norman is like, and then I'm going to become one of the Avengers, and then I will be the Avenger, and I will run America's safe policy.
But I do think that
soft
should be a
pitch.
slow burn.
I like so the slow burn of it all is if we do that conference scene at the beginning where he's talking about like health benefits.
Yeah.
Just the slow, like whenever Norman is on screen in that sort of like he's in the shadows kind of way, it's health benefits. Military, slowly, it comes into a twisted perspective of what his original like ambition with the company was.
I almost think it should be a thing where initially he actually did just want it to be a health benefit thing. Like he's like, why haven't we used the super serum to like cure things? And then investors coming back to him after being pressured, being like, look, I'll help you because of my own reasons. Like flashback to Prowler beating the shit out of him with hammers or whatever. Yeah. And then being like, you're not gonna sell anything trying to help people. You gotta sell things by like giving them more power.
And I think
they make him it's a parallel. It's a parallel between this investor and Norman and Harry and Miles, where Harry's like, you gotta sell your idea this.
But I think Harry's learning from Norman.
But I think the difference is that when an investor, it can be like a one-on-one meeting with like, there's a second big investor meeting where they've all been pressured and they're all like, yeah, John, yeah, we will sign up for this. And then one of the investors takes him aside, perhaps one of the older ones, and is like, look, man, you know the situation here, you know where we're at, but like, look, if you really want to make money, you don't have to pay someone to pressure us to do this. You just need to get rid of all of this trying to help people stuff. and start, like you said, move into the thing. And then Norman can go, do you think I'm so stupid that I don't know that? The point of this is to, like, lots of you guys have got where you are by doing the immoral thing.
Yeah.
But no one knows who you are. No one's ever heard of you guys. None of the real, like, but everyone's heard of the people that try to do something good. And
Everyone's heard of Tony Stark.
And again, you get this parallel of like
Tony Stark did this in a conference.
Well, you get the parallel of how Harry feels about, like, you know, having being a rich kid means nothing in a world of superheroes, and that's a thing that he's got from Norman, where he's like, Iron Man isn't important because he was a billionaire.
Iron Man's important because he's fucking Iron Man.
Because he was the Avenger. He was the main Avenger. And that's what makes him important. No one remembers Justin Hammer. No one remembers these people.
I love that Justin Hammer.
Do you remember when the Avengers Tower had Stark Towers written on it?
Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
And then
Do you remember who Obadiah Stane is? No. No one remembers who he is.
except for that one guy in Ironheart.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I love the idea of him throwing out 15 Easter eggs for no one, but
In
like...
this one scene, but it's like the like extreme close up of him like pressed against this guy being like reference.
No, but I think that's kind of a good thing of like
It's a good reference.
It's like, what would it be like coming
Like,
up?
do you know who Justin Hammer
Yeah.
is? And
Do
he's
you
like,
know
is
the
he a
Muffin
superhero?
Man?
Yeah.
Like, is he
Well,
like a Hammer-themed superhero?
Or you could even be like, do you know Justin Hammer? He's like, no. He's like, oh, that's interesting because you invested money into his company, but you don't remember who he is.
See right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, jail.
Yeah. and you can do that whole thing of like, look, making money isn't enough for me. I'm not here to be a billionaire.
I'm here to be a god.
Yeah, oh yeah. It could be like, I'm here to be.
I'm gonna buy Twitter.
No, but that's the parallel, right?
I'm gonna do a vulgar roast on Spider-Man.
I'm going to use forbidden words. My name is Norman Osborn.
But yes, like that. Clearly, the whole thing of that then becomes like it. The aspiration, like, it's like if you were just trying to be a celebrity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, being a famous actor probably means jack shit compared to being one of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And if you have that drive to be the most well-liked person...
Imagine being like an F1 driver in the Avengers world.
Well, yeah, you got
What does that fucking mean? Like, oh, sorry, Tony Stark went on the
Imagine being an F1
in 2010 and did the sickest thing we've ever seen. And now our entire sport means nothing. It means nothing.
Imagine being an F1 driver in like the DC world with all the speedsters. It would just be like, so what? I can do that.
And great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's like at least 5 people out there who can do that with their legs.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think that's like Norman's...
Barry Allen did this with his legs
in
in a cave.
Again, I think that's the the important part of Norman's like complex, and that's where you're aiming the movie is towards this point of like, if we don't stop whatever, Miles doesn't know that the Prowler, say, is his uncle, but he knows that like the Prowler is doing stuff on behalf. He can learn slowly that the Prowler is doing stuff on behalf of Norman, and even Harry can turn around and be like,
Harry should turn to him and be like, look, I know you're against the superhero thing, but I need your help because something weird's happening.
Something's weird happening, and I think my dad is doing some really immoral shit.
One done macrothematic, I've realised, is we've basically just done with great power comes great responsibility, but without anyone dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Eject.
But on every single parallel. So Prowler is learning this, Norman is learning this,
Yes.
Harry is learning this.
That was my plan
Miles
this whole time.
Yeah. But it's cool again.
You've fallen into my trap, which is writing.
Yeah.
We have written something.
And like, sure, we can shove in some other
and other words.
And then Spider-Man shows up.
Yeah.
And then globs over the place.
But
I was gonna say, I think the title of this should be similar to, okay, you know how like Thunderbolts did the Thunderbolts, and then at the end of Thunderbolts they changed the name.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting to do like Miles Morales, and then at the end of it it's like Spider-Man. Yeah.
Hold on, Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Okay, what's
Or
the...
as Spider-Man.
No, we should have...
Use Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We should have like, you know how, like, it's like, we're now clearly in the Day trilogy of Brand New Day, and they'll probably all be called fucking Day something.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like, one last day.
And it'll end with Doomsday.
We've done Home, now we're at Day.
Yeah, there'll be one last day, and then one more day will be the next two Spider-Man
and then
movies.
Doomsday.
Spider-Man in
Sorry, Spider-Man Thursday.
But, like, what's the Miles Morales...
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
Brightest Day,
D-Day.
Darkest Night.
What's the...
The Miles Morales one.
Day.
No, you fucking moron!
Day.
It's not Home, it's not Day, it's something entirely new.
Yes.
And that's our new format.
So it could be. Okay, so
Come up with a.
I'm thinking.
Come up with a name first, and then we'll figure out which part of that gets to be the bit that's part of the trilogy each time.
Well, okay, so initially I was like, do we have it be... Because I like the calling it Miles Morales and then it have maybe even having an asterisk or it being in brackets or something, and then having him be like, as the new Spider-Man or something like that.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
I thought about Ultimate, but that would then kind of pin you to the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
So...
And I don't like that Miles is known as the Ultimate Spider-Man anyway. I think that's not really that fun.
The neighborhood Spider-Man, the
Okay, so just vaguely running down the beats of everything that's happened and then trying to work out what the story...
Can we take a break so I can pee first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Actually, it's a right error anyway, so just...
Yeah.
Right, old error.
It's just gonna keep... I'm just gonna keep it recording
Can we press
because
the...
I can't press anything because it's a right error.
to your hand?
This is very embarrassing. Ru just fell over a beanbag.
Fell off.
Right, I want to open my chocolate thing. I want to like whatever this chocolate bag is. My chudlet bar.
Can you double check that the thing's still plugged in?
It is still plugged in.
Cool.
What are you doing?
Double checking on this end, so we don't have the thing turn off halfway through recording.
It might do.
Ugh. So, Prowler breaks in. Oscorp is doing a keyboard. Miles is doing a pitch.
No, my buttons, no.
Miles is doing a pitch. He goes...
Look at this shit, man. Look at my buttons,
my chocolate gone.
My chocolate buttons, man.
Yeah, that really is chocolate.
Oh, man, my. Would you like to try some of my shit?
It's not a bar. It's a block.
My chocolate block. My chocolate brick.
My chocolate bricked up. This is evolution. No. It's too much for a generic tagline. Are we watching a movie after?
No, I'll probably have to go home.
No!
I have to edit this in 3 days.
Piss me off. My chud son won't come and watch a movie with me. What am I going to do?
I think before we do Ultimate Freaky Fight You, we have to get a new thing.
SD, yeah.
Yeah, this
We're
thing
working on the SD.
this thing has been riddled with right errors.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Is this little grey bin an actual bin?
Not really, no. It's a remnant of Vic that I'm trying to throw out. Why? Do you want a bin bag or something?
Yeah, that's great for audio.
Who uses all these? Bimbo? Oh. What do you mean? What's
I
that?
wrapped it in the remnants of the thing.
Oh. My shorts on.
My choice.
My shorts on.
Look at the chocolate.
I want to watch a movie.
Oh my god.
Well, you can do whatever you want.
Rude, do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to watch stuff?
We're not done though.
No, but after.
Maybe.
I ain't staying, dog. I gotta get home.
It depends when we finish because
Big Dog's
I would
like, I'm
to
working.
be home.
Do you want to get the bean bag out of the way so you don't trip?
I'll be fine.
Okay. Breaks the TV. I'll be fine, actually.
What did you just keep? I keep forgetting my hair is pink, and then I shed like a pink strand of hair, and I'm like, who the fuck is that?
It's good.
Thank you.
Alright, we're back.
That's what you think.
No, that's what it is.
It's so over, actually.
It's what a we is.
Yeah, it's what a we is.
Okay,
Too right.
we're going through the plot beats of the whole film.
That was more just me trying to think of the home and day, the new home day.
I feel like if that doesn't come to us naturally, we should just leave it.
It's just Miles.
It's just Miles Morales in, and then whatever the name of the film is.
Miles, 3 words.
Miles' way home.
Yeah.
Brand new Miles.
Miles' home day.
That's when.
No.
It's when
Word A, word
Miles
B,
day
word
out.
C. Miles, a grand day out.
I think having
Like
the
Wallace
Miles
and Gromit.
Morales tag on it will be enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna type in Spider-Man runs.
It's just
Spider-Man run.
that
I
was
was
horrible for
running.
visual aid, but I just mimed running.
Jenny, I be running.
Quick! Talk about something so that the auto-generated chapters have something to tell the listeners.
Tom is having an abortion.
Okay, well,
Youch!
Yeah.
that's the tag. That's the clip that I will put up when promoting this episode. Tom is having an abortion. Youch!
Who is he having an abortion with?
What do you mean? Who is he having an abortion with?
He's you know. Now I don't want to talk about this. It's pretty weird.
Stop talking about this.
My Spider-Man. My Spider-Man.
I want to look through. This is not because we've already established who our villains are for this,
Yeah.
but I just wanna draw attention to the Miles Morales rogue gallery for a moment in this trying time.
Brooklyn's Finest is actually quite a good.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Brooklyn's Finest, I like. Yeah.
Miles Morales Spider-Man Brooklyn's Finest is one of the ones that's like.
I like that. Yeah,
Were
one
you just
thing,
looking at different tags?
one thing I would
I'm
want
looking at
threaded
different-
through this whole movie is the like community aspect of Miles Morales, which is done really well in the PlayStation game. I will say. I just have always really liked that he like knows he will like return to certain people in the neighborhood and like they know, obviously they don't know him by name, but like it is implied that he knows a lot of people by name.
I've just realised a very cynical part of the naming convention that may be a problem for us, but we will ignore.
What?
But the reality would probably be that Sony would very much like Spider-Man in the name, just by default, probably at the front line of it.
Yeah.
Just so they can be like, this is still our IP. Everyone remember this is still our
but
IP.
I think
So it would probably be a
Let's
Spider-Man
pretend-
Miles. Let's just pretend that companies aren't like that about their
let's
branding
pretend
and their
we can do
trademarks.
whatever the fuck
Yeah,
we want.
I was just saying.
And then I would have
the
it just
reality of
because
it.
like I can imagine the like, you know, San Diego Comic-Con, these are the 50 million films we have planned until the year 3000.
Yeah, and
it
it's a
just
good
says
way to be like
Miles
Miles.
Morales and people know who that is. So it's not like they don't know it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Brooklyn's Finest is the way to go, and then it's
Yeah,
it's
Miles
like the
Morales
and then it's
Brooklyn's
Something's
the,
finest.
and it's the Finest trilogy or something.
Yeah, the
Finest
It's the
trilogy.
Finest trilogy. But then it becomes like like you can do like a Finest hour or like.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
true. Parking
Finest
fine.
day. Miles Morales parking finest.
Finest in Horto.
Finale.
Five Nights.
Finale. Finale 5.
Finest at Freddy's.
Finest at Freddy's.
I think we're quite close to basically finishing up the story. Like, we don't have the exact beats of the Act 2's, like, wind down.
Yeah.
But it is more or less, we know that Prowler is changing up his morality.
Yeah.
We know that Norman is changing up his morality. And we know that Miles and arguably maybe Harry are kind of, like, growing to be kind of heroic characters in the sync of those two characters.
Yes. I think definitely having sort of roughly Act 2 maybe shortly after the montage bit, and then maybe sometime during the drug talk part.
Yeah.
Harry being like, oh my god, something's happening in my dad's company. Maybe he doesn't even suspect his dad yet.
Maybe he's like, all of these like,
I have an idea.
But Norman not realizing his own son is, like, savvy enough to understand what's
the
happening.
shareholders are fucking with my dad's vision.
Yeah.
I have an idea, and that's that, so, like, throughout the movie, like, Harry at first is like, something's really weird. My dad has been using this, like, I think known criminal. I don't know what he's doing. I just know that he's been talking to him, and I think we should do something about this because I don't want my dad involved in really bad stuff.
And so then,
which he tells Miles, of course.
My dad's hanging with some shady people.
And then towards the third act of the movie is when, like, Norman reveals to Aaron that, like, his big goal is to have a contract with the New Avengers, and Aaron kind of is at the tipping point of, like, but that's not a good. I can't do that.
You're not that guy as well.
So Aaron basically is making the decision that he's going to kill Norman Osborn to get out of this.
Yeah.
To which Harry then has to make the new thing of, like, I know we were here to stop my dad, and I still believe in doing that from the inside. I think that he's going to die soon if we don't stop this Prowler. And so then the movie becomes about Spider-Man stopping the Prowler from killing Norman.
Yeah.
Which then enables Norman to get his contract with the New Avengers.
Because
and the ending of the movie,
ending
of the movie is the New Avengers, like, doing a press tour where they're like, and now we've got our new sponsor, an up and coming.
I really like how this is basically
philanthropist.
teeing up Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
Because it's almost the whole Norman is getting himself way too involved in the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And then,
as
a result, getting able to, like,
I think it could even be.
enjoy that a lot.
think it could even be even less. Like, on Harry's part, he thinks he's just saving his. Like, he's like, oh, I think my dad's hanging out with some shady people. Can you help me investigate? Like, he's not pushing Miles to be a hero yet. But then in the moment, he's like, that guy's gonna kill my dad. You have to stop him. And in some, like, fight scene or whatever, Miles realizes he's trying to stop his uncle from killing his friend's dad, and it gets real messy for him emotionally, and that can be the sort of falling action part of the.
I'm kind of perhaps still on. Anyway, this is a script that would piss people off because I think we're not doing Green Goblin, but I think that works because we're basically teeing him up for an entirely different persona of his.
Yeah,
and then eventually, maybe later down the line, maybe more in Spider-Man runs.
Yeah,
there's the Green Goblin on the table later.
I like that leaves Norman in a position where you can see that he's kind of gaining power afterwards.
Yes.
In the end of this movie.
It sets up a good dynamic between Miles and Harry as well, where if Miles towards the end of this finally puts on his little hero hat, cape, whatever, that can be something that becomes a point of contention for them in a future film where Harry's, like, super into it. I just like the idea of Harry being like, I built you a suit and it's so high tech, and Miles refusing to actually wear it.
I think in this one, what we can have is when Harry turns to Miles and is like, look, I think my dad's been meeting up with some strange people and I don't know how I feel about it. And Miles says, okay, fine, I will. I'm not saying that I will do this, but I'll do this. I'll investigate this.
And he just he just camouflages and follows
the
him.
flip side of if we get to a point beats wise where, like, Harry has essentially had to say, I don't trust this Prowler guy, and then Miles finds out that this Prowler guy is his uncle, it's interesting in number 2 to then be like, Miles having to be like, remember when you told me not to trust this guy and it happened to be my uncle? I'm now telling you not to trust your dad.
Yeah.
And then that being the tension.
So we've set up a lot like great stuff, but I
For
do
number
think
2,
like
and now we should finish number 1.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm trying to get to, is that we need to talk about, like, at what point does Miles go from being like random superhero vigilante to, oh my god, I am Spider-Man, or I've got Spider-Man's powers,
I think it's a third act thing. Like, okay, in Homecoming, he doesn't fully become his own without Tony Stark, without anybody else, until like the bit where he's crumped under a bunch of rubble and he makes himself Spider-Man, essentially, right? So I think that is essentially what it is I think the revelation that I think it is legitimately, he is just trailing Norman for a while. He's maybe stopping some crime on the way because he can't help himself but to intervene when someone's in trouble. It can even be like...
What if he's while he's trying to trail Norman, that's when the spider sense comes in for the first time.
Yeah, maybe.
And it completely debilitates him, and he tells Harry, he's like, look, man, I tried to figure out what's going on. I wasn't able to catch anything because these new powers meant that I could focus on nothing, which meant that I didn't know.
I
sort
think
of like
that
a drunken
stuff
web saying
happens
it's
sooner
raining scene or
because I would
something.
want this stuff to happen, like, maybe because I think he's already dealing with the Spidey sense stuff, and that can definitely be part of it. I think that thematically, it should be his desire to help others that stops him from trailing Norman. So even if it is a case of he is following this guy in camouflage, Norman goes down some back alley or whatever, but he hears someone getting mugged.
Right? Prowler, not Norman.
No, Prowler. No, Norman. Because he's following Norman.
Why is he following Norman?
Because Harry has asked him to.
And been like, look, my
No,
dad.
but Harry asked him to follow Prowler.
No, Harry has asked him to follow his dad.
Because his dad is dealing with shady people that Harry hasn't seen.
Right.
Currently, from Miles' perspective, Prowler isn't a thing yet.
Yeah, it's barely in the
He's
news
like-
or anything.
yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
And then
But Miles is following this guy. He's camouflaged. So I'd like whenever he does use his powers for the majority of the film, it's either the electricity or the camouflaging, so that we get more actual Miles powers.
Yeah.
And maybe Norman goes in somewhere. He's about to follow him. Maybe he's even meeting up with Prowler, and that leads to the scene where he blackmails Prowler. But Miles doesn't get to see that because his Spidey sense, he is still getting adjusted, but it clocks into someone getting mugged or kidnapped or whatever. And so he feels the need to follow that and stop
click
that
into
from
the
happening.
frequency of whatever's going on in a different...
And so maybe he even, because he's not in a suit, in camouflage, beats the shit out of this guy and is like, I hope you're alright, ma'am. And she's just like, yeah, thanks,
Ghost.
whoever you are.
Thanks, Invisible Man.
Thanks, Invisible Man. And he's
like,
like, yeah, whatever. And that's like the first time we see him being a hero, but he still kind of is refusing it. And then I think that the beats that are like, oh shit, I'm fighting the Prowler, he's trying to kill Norman Osborn, Harry being like, you gotta stop this guy from killing my dad, him chasing the Prowler, and then realizing the Prowler is his uncle should all be somewhat within this, like almost back to back, so it can lead to his falling action of, okay, this is hard, but I'm the only one who can do this.
I think that we need a fight with the Prowler earlier than just when he's trying to stop him from killing Norman.
No,
I think
that
there's
should
fight one
definitely be
with
the
Prowler,
case.
and then failure to understand all of his powers while Prowler is getting quite good, and then you have your low moment. But it's probably just realistically like a 10-minute beat of I fight Prowler, 5-minute beat of I'm struggling, back into the fight. 10 minutes.
Wait, what if he's fighting Prowler and he's very clearly way over his head, he's losing, and then that's when like your Peter Parker Spider-Man comes in.
Oh yeah.
Kind of
Which allows Miles a bit of time to acclimatise to his powers a bit more.
Yeah, he webs up Prowler in in the webs, to which Prowler now knows how to get out of that without having to wait the 3 hours it takes to melt. Because of Homecoming. But Peter's priorities are to get Miles out. And it can be a thing where he saves Miles, gets him out, and Miles is like, how can you see me? I've been invisible the whole time. And Peter doesn't even realize that he was invisible because he's been running on Spider
I like the idea of Peter getting to be Peter that moment, being like, that's so cool, wait, stay here, I'm gonna ask you about that. And Miles doesn't stay because why would he?
Yeah, and then like, I think
Peter Parker gets knocked out because Prowler's used to Spider-Man's
no, I don't think that
fighting. I can see just a moment of like, okay, Spider-Man is down. Miles takes the lead for once after having been rescued by Spider-Man.
No,
It's
I
almost
see
like
it
a
more
little
of
bit of an intuition training of the two.
No, I think
it could
it's
even just be Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Prowler are in some sort of stalemate test of strength in the moment, and camouflaged Miles literally just dukes him out in the like provides enough of a distraction.
Almost like an Anakin Obi-Wan situation where they literally can't get the one up on each other because they both know exactly what their next move is.
right.
So Prowler and Spider-Man are stuck in this way.
Mainly a scene for Miles rather than like for Spider-Man, this is a typical I'm stopping a break-in kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then, because I want the reveal, the final powers that he gets to be the webs, like organic webbing.
Yeah.
Right.
To be
I feel
the
like he's got
signal.
the wall climbing by now, just from the recon scene.
I think
Yeah.
the organic webbing is definitely maybe even something he realizes and he's like, that's fucking weird. I think that the fully realized version of the organic webbing thing is being able to tase people, essentially.
I think he gets the, maybe he gets the organic webbing when he's trying to get away from Prowler. Like, it's like Spider-Man Peter Parker is fighting Prowler to give Miles some time to get out.
And there's maybe like combination of seeing Spider-Man do the action and almost being clobbered in the head.
Yeah.
Which means that he just goes, okay, wait, reflex to not get killed.
And he pulls himself out.
Yeah.
And then that's when he can have the wait, am I like Spider-Man? Is that what I am?
And Spider-Man's there as well, being like, are you like me?
Yeah. Well, no, he's not. No, he's not there because Spider-Man is still fighting. I think what happens is that Spider-Man and Prowler basically that fight continues happening off screen.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see that because we're only following Miles as he is getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I am not prepared to be dealing with whoever that
And in the
was.
background, there's like a
and you can do on the news the next day that the fight between Spider-Man and the Prowler ended with a stalemate. So
You've maybe even got like Harry on comms in the same way that Ned was on comms, being like, "This is vaguely what's going on."
Or even just the news being like, be on the lookout for new villain, the Prowler. And because this happens so much in the society, people are like, another fucking villain.
And then they could be like, and the Prowler now ranks as number 7 on the list.
Yeah, there's like TikToks that are like, guys, not enough people are talking about the Prowler.
The Prowler is now rated quite highly, but he's now
deep dive on who the Prowler is.
But in terms of New York's Most Wanted, there's still Daredevil and Spider-Man at the top of the list because it's during the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And then eventually Harry's like, and this should be like right before Miles goes straight into the third act, just Harry calling up and being like, he's gonna kill my dad. And Miles is like, who? And he's like, the guy, the Prowler. Then that is,
It's probably like a JJ, they clearly staged a fight with each other to give each other more publicity.
Miles should get his own version of J. James. I don't actually know if he has one, but just a video essay.
Who's a fan, and then
just a video essayist being like 1 hour 30 minutes. Who is the Prowler?
Yeah. And then I think he can talk to
Harry's a big fan.
I think he talks to Harry then about look, man, something weird happened. I did this thing and like spider webs and he eventually gets to work. And then that's when Harry's like, I think you're a Spider-Man. And he's like, what do you mean?
Like, what do you mean Spider-Man?
And he's like, well, we don't, how do we know that Spider-Man is one person? How do we know? And then that he's
like, I watched this 2-hour video.
You can have that stupid level of take where it's like someone is so sure that they're like, look, man, I've seen things online about that actually Spider-Man is a group of people. I mean, there's already that Spider-Man
and then they're like, we should start a podcast.
There's that night monkey type of person who lives in Europe.
So
there's probably more
look at this Spider-Man. He's got a different suit from this Spider-Man.
Yeah, and yet the eyes.
They keep coming back to the eyes.
And then I think they're like, okay, Miles, you have to save my dad, but you can't stay invisible the whole time because people are gonna figure if you get knocked out, you're just exposed as Miles Morales. We need to get you a costume that at the very least hides your identity from from people when they look at you. And it also means that you're not concentrating on being invisible the whole time.
And maybe
it means you can actually use your powers properly.
Maybe they take, like, a Halloween Spider-Man costume and, like, spray paint it.
No, because that's too much. That's too much like, that's too much like Into the Spider-Verse. And I think,
Tree does that.
And I definitely prefer the, like, they go into the workshop bit of their school, and you can set it around Halloween or around the school play that's going on in the background anyway.
There's, like, they steal, like...
They're doing a Rogers the Musical
They steal
version.
a random suit from the theatre department.
Yeah.
Like some random lycra suit, and they're like, quick, just fucking spray it black or something.
And they're, like, re-sewing it to fit him and all that stuff, and they're like, I don't know, figuring out, like, okay, it only works, like... When you turn invisible, only certain clothing turns invisible with you, so we have to make sure we make it out of this type of material and not this one. It's like, okay, well, that only comes in black instead of coming in the we don't have a red and blue thing. Like, that can only come in black and red. And you're like, oh, okay, fine. What if we do the suit is black and then we have the red spider stuff? It's like, oh, fine.
And one of the... I feel like Miles would be like, why are you trying to, like, design a costume? We just need...
Yeah.
We just need a suit.
I love the idea of them being like, okay, this is the suit. And then Harry runs up and slaps, like, a felt spider on it.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, it looks cool.
And he's like,
it's just empty space otherwise.
Yeah, and that's where he's like, this is what I'm talking about. And it's the showmanship
and
and
it's back to the Harry... back to the Harry, like, this is how you sell it. And Miles being like, this is just how you do it.
He's like, you want to scare this Prowler guy? You want to fight the Prowler guy? You go in a black suit. You want to scare this Prowler guy? You show up as a new Spider-Man, and you'll get people of New York on your side. You'll get the police on your side. No one will question whether or not you're a hero or not because you're dressed like Spider-Man. It stops you from getting accidentally arrested. It stops, like, people from questioning your motives. It's got all of this stuff is built into it.
And Miles is just listening to it and being like, sure, man.
Sure, man. Whatever.
Or maybe even, like...
Can I have the suit now and go fight the guy?
Yeah.
They gotta have the typical, like, vigilante. They have a police scanner. Someone's like, oh, we are the police. I've listened to many a police scanner, as you can tell. We are the police.
We are the police. There's an emergency.
We have seen the Prowler. The Prowler.
5th Street or whatever, or something.
It has to be at, like, some vague, not too tacky, but vaguely notable New York location, like Rockefeller Center, some shit. The Saturday Night Live theater has been broken into.
They're in Madison Square Garden.
All of Madison Square Garden has been broken into.
The Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding has been hijacked by the Prowler. Come quickly.
No, I think what it is
he was not on the invite
I think
list.
it's like Norman is on the way to it again with keeping with the big investor like things. Is that like we start off with this very small investors meeting with
it should be like a gala.
Small people. There's a bigger investors meeting when they've all been strong armed into being like, yes, we'll back you, but like this thing, and then it's like a big. Almost like Stark Expo was in New York.
No, it should be like a gala or something.
No, wait. What if
Stark Expo was like slightly away from New York?
But
right?
it's
like basically a 20-minute trip out. At
yeah,
max.
but that's fine. Is it? I think you do it like he's now at like
that could be funny.
I think you do that. Stark Expo has continued on since Stark died. It's like they've continued having Stark Expos.
Like Stark Expo Memoriam or something.
I
Like
like the idea of being like, we have to get there as soon as possible. You gotta take us there. What do you mean? I was like, well, you have the like things. You could like swing us there.
You're
for
taking
20
the train.
minutes. We're taking the train.
It's like I can maybe do that. You're taking the train. I'm not carrying
And then
you.
there's a shot of him like clearly wearing the suit, but he's thrown like a hoodie over it.
What if he's just like, no, like Harry, you have money, right? He's like, yeah. And he's like, get us a cab.
Sponsored by Uber.
So cool if you pick me up, dude.
He's like, look, I
think Harry 1000% is like, you gotta swing us. Come on, you gotta swing us there. And Miles is like, why? We can just walk.
Wait. Okay,
Multiple times.
Harry's like talking about the logistics of him being carried and be like, I could do it like this or like this. And meanwhile, like Miles is like walking down the stairs with like ordering an Uber, being like, and it's here. We're gonna.
Wait. Even better if he's like, I think like it's like Miles decides like, look, I can get there in like 5 minutes flat. If I swing there myself, if I'm carrying you, I don't even know if I can swing and carry someone before. I've never done that. You get a cab, you can afford it. I'll meet you there, but I'll be there. I'll get there quicker, and then
I don't want a cab. I don't want a cab.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and then you can have-
I love the idea of Harry just being like finding reasons to be swung constantly and it being shot down until
I
the
think
end.
that like in the final fight, you can do like stuff where like Peter is fighting the Prowler, and then every now and then you just cut back to Harry like in traffic in the cab. Like,
Also, I think at the very, very end, however it ends,
he has to swing him back. Yeah.
He has to be like, "All right, let's go," and he like holds out his hand, and Harry's like, "No,
Yeah!
the Lego movie, like I can build a spaceship."
Yeah.
That's the end credit scene is like Harry, especially because like Harry's a rich kid, so Harry has probably like never had like a minute to himself where he's just bored and doing something and thinking. He's probably had a stimulus of some sort for like, his entire life. He's holding on to Miles, and it's the first time that he's ever just like not had anything to do other than just sit there.
Right.
And is therefore getting bored and has realised how underwhelming the situation is.
I mean,
after being
also,
hyped up for a good 20 minutes.
Another version of that scene could just be like, it's the end. They're kind of just gonna have like a nice friend chat at the top of the Empire State Building, and Harry's like, "All right, I guess I'll take the elevator. If only there were a way I could get to the top." Miles is like, "Oh, just come on."
That's the end. Yeah. I think that works. Yeah, so I think like the big thing is like it's like a Stark Expo announcement like thing where he's doing an investors meeting where it's very much like the Steve Jobs talking about the new iPhone, and
or Justin Hammett talking about the new
iPhone.
Yeah, but I think like Valentina is in the audience,
hell yeah, my
watching
queen.
it, and and it's very clear that he's doing this big investment thing, but it's very clearly like he's making eye contact with her a lot. Trying to be like, look, I'm doing this to get into the New Avengers. And when the Prowler shows up and tries to kill him on stage, that's when Miles has to come in and save him.
Yeah.
And that's when you've got like, you can have like the full thing of like, what does a Spider-Man Prowler fight look like when there's other people in the room?
Yeah, because he has to help everyone.
And he's also,
as well.
and it was like fighting on the like walkways above the.
That could be fun.
Like Batman.
The presentation, yeah, like in the Batman.
Yeah,
and then also like fighting when there's like you're getting through like the seats of people who are standing around, and you get to do that stuff. And then obviously, eventually, Miles wins and is like, "God, you're my uncle."
Yeah, and then Prowler
Does
goes
Prowler
to jail.
No, Prowler
goes to jail.
I think he goes
Prowler
to jail.
goes to jail. I think because then you can begin to set up like a Sinister Six
Also,
thing.
we
if you
can't
want,
kill
or-
Donald Glover
Also,
this
it'd
early
be
on.
great trailer promo having like Donald Glover behind the jail like prison. Why am I forgetting the fucking? You know the visitors room in prison where it's like we need to talk and it's Miles and Prowler
for a second movie.
For a second movie,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
I'm saying the trailer bait of that would be brilliant.
Amazing. Yeah. Also, we can't kill Donald Glover one movie into the trilogy.
No, because I think he's necessary because then you can eventually do the like he gets out of jail and like.
I think it's also like there's just an argument of like the actual legacy that man has with this character means that he's worth having around for a long time.
Yeah.
Just like Like, literally, this entire pitch would not exist without him. So, therefore...
And I also think that, like, we don't need to kill Jefferson Davis in this movie.
No, we don't.
Because we can do that in the next one.
You're right, but
we can do that in the next one.
Because we haven't... He's actually not been in this movie much. It means the next film can be a lot about, okay, he's Spider-Man now, and his dad's a cop. Yeah. And how do we deal with that?
How does he deal with the day-to-day of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's...
And how does Harry deal with the day-to-day of knowing that Norman is... a little bit evil.
A little bit evil, and like, that's great. We did great,
anyway.
guys. We did great. And then it's like, and then they have the cute little chat on the top of the Empire State Building that fuels fan fiction for the next year.
One of the post-credit scenes is...
And then the title screen comes up and it's like Miles Morales, Brooklyn's finest, and then it flips over and it's like Spider-Man or whatever.
Spider-Man, Miles.
And then you have like one of the end credit scenes is Norman Osborn getting like introduced to the new Avengers.
Yeah. Or Valentina even showing up and being like, "We got it. I have a proposal."
Or it's just like we've got a deal. You provide us with our stuff. We provide you with this thing, and it's like, and one more thing, and it's like I'd like to be kind of the full. I'd like to be in charge of the PR as well, if that's all right. And it's like, I was like, I don't care about that. That's
What
not
PR?
really,
We've lost all credibility.
She's
in the
like,
last
good
Thunderbolts
fucking
movie.
luck wrangling those guys into PR.
Yeah.
Have you met them?
She's just like, you should have started with that. I'll take it.
She's like, are
I don't
you
need any
kidding
of
me?
that.
Have you tried to get Bucky to do a TikTok? He doesn't know what that is.
And then what she doesn't realize is that like what Norman intends to do
Try
is
making
make
a 98-year-old man do TikTok.
Norman basically intends to make himself
Right.
like a Kevin Feige figure of
Or like the Bang
Avengers,
CEO.
Right.
where he's like I'm the guy that everyone recognizes as the guy who's in charge, even though I'm not in charge on paper.
Yeah.
But I make myself. He's like, I make myself so apparent to the public, and I'm in all.
I'm like a freaky
He
Feige.
turns,
if you will.
he turns himself into the Kevin Feige, and then then there's two people who are like, let's make a podcast.
What do you think about that, Kevin?
It's called fucking Nerdy Norman.
Nerdy Norman.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Fuck!
Okay, that's the end of the movie.
Yay, we did it.
That's the end of the pod.
It's not the end of the episode, you fucking
Oh, 'cause you want to do
idiot.
some. What do you think of Spider-Man?
So, brand new day. The things we know
Spider-Man.
are that Punisher is in it, and
Yeah.
that the Hulk is in it,
Yeah.
and that Sadie Sink is in it,
Yeah.
and that
Scorpion's
Jamel
in it.
Tillman's in it. The guy from Severance is in it. Scorpion is in it. The Hand is involved.
There's the whole
Several
scene
hands.
with in the new trailers with Scorpion clearly being mind controlled.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be interesting. So I think that a lot of the thread of the like we're showing bits of like Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery are going to be we're showing Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery being controlled by an entity that's slightly more
Yeah.
powerful than them, and I think there's going to be an element of like that weird like cheeky banter that Spider-Man tends to have with his Sinister Six, with his like
Well, you can tell.
entourage.
You can tell that he already has relationships with them in the
with
sense
Scorpion. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like he's already like, oh come on, Frank, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
and with Scorpion, he was like, "Oh, come on, Scorpion, what are you doing?" And he's like,
Oh.
"Oh, you think I'm
And
Scorpion?"
then he's like, come on, Hulk, what
easy
are we
thing-
doing here?
I think we all think Sadie Sink is Jean Grey.
I think so.
I don't think there's a single person who's like.
I think they're
and
trying
anyone-
to set her up as a Gwen, but I don't think they're gonna bring in a Gwen.
I think the funniest thing I've ever seen has been people being like, "She's MJ."
And it's like,
What?
You idiots! You moron!
She's MJ too.
yeah. I think she's got. I think she has to be Jean Grey, not just because of this movie, but because she's been confirmed as part of the cast of Secret Wars.
Yeah, which
Interesting.
means she can't be a Gwen.
Yeah, or it means she has to be important enough that she
yeah.
has to be put in an Avengers movie.
There's
But
also the
that
whole.
begs the question: then, what is Jean Grey doing in?
Well, I think we're being introduced to like some mutants where in a universe that doesn't have the X-Men and doesn't have the Xavier School for the Gifted.
There's the one correlation with Jean Grey and Spider-Man in the Marvel comics, but it's more so the daughter character. So that could be an option too. Is that
she's
it's not
made-
Jean Grey? There is a Jean Grey out there somewhere, and this is actually
Mayday
Jean
Parker.
Grey and Scott Summers' daughter. What's her name?
Oh, I don't know, the daughter.
But it's the one that
Yeah, I
eventually
know
gets
who you're
raised by
talking about.
Cable. But there's a bit where like. I think it's at the beginning of
Wait.
Avengers vs.
Do
X-Men.
you not mean Spider-Man's daughter?
No, I really don't. Like, I really 100% don't.
Okay.
Anyway, I was going to be... Yeah.
Okay, but isn't Cable Jean Grey's son?
Yes. So I'm getting there. So So Scott Summers and Jean Grey, I believe both... Like, Cable is one of their kids
Right.
later down the line.
Right.
But they also have a daughter. And what happens is essentially she's too powerful because it's basically just Dark Phoenix times 2.
Right.
And the solution is to send her eventually to the future and to be raised by Cable.
Right.
So essentially raised by her brother.
Right.
And before that, a lot of people try and like teach her different principles
Right.
throughout the entire thing. So Spider-Man's one of the last mentors she goes to.
Hmm.
So there could be an element.
I feel like that would be
feels
too
so
complicated
difficult to explain.
No.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm just explaining the wider comic
Yeah.
stuff. But they could be. I think it's a.
That would
It's
be
like
wild
M
to
something?
bring in.
Like May. Summers.
Yeah.
There's something. It's something Summers. I can't remember what the
I have
fuck
a
it is.
feeling she's probably more likely to be Jean
Just
Grey.
Jean
I think
Grey.
there's a
Yeah,
possi-
I do too. I'm just saying that there are other
Yeah.
I think there's a
iterations of very similar
possibility
characters.
that she is not the person with the mind control powers, and is in fact a different person to who that is. And the trailers have been very misleading. But she is perhaps a a Peter Parker's daughter from one of the other universes, like a Tobey Maguire's daughter, could be an option that is like how they then push into Doomsday.
Maguire's kind of implied to be at that age where he's raising a kid.
And then she's Mayday Parker, and I don't know, she was born in 2007 or something.
Maybe.
And she's meant to be slightly younger than, or because that universe didn't have a snap, then she's as old as Peter is, even if she's born after or something.
It's interesting.
And there's, I can't think of any other villains that they could do that pull her off as or characters where you would, as an audience, would go, oh yeah, I know who that is.
Because
there's the whole
not in ways where I would see her in Doomsday as well.
Yeah,
there's the whole thing as well that she, Sadie Sink, skipped all of the usual casting process. So it's clearly this character is so similar to this actress that we're just jumping on this as soon as possible.
Yeah,
so that really does confirm I think it's a Jean Grey.
I mean, I'm just excited to see her in the MCU.
Yeah. I feel like she's a really strong actress that
she's
just happens to have gone through Stranger Things.
Probably the best Stranger Things.
She's the best Stranger Things actor. In my opinion.
I quite like the Dustin guy as well.
He's on Broadway now. He's doing great. He's coming here.
There
I
are
think,
good
as well.
actors within that show. It's just that show deteriorated season after season almost.
I think that's often the case, though.
Okay, the other question is the fight with Hulk. How far into the movie do you think that is?
I think it'll happen pretty soon. Because the thing is I remember watching the trailer.
32 minutes in.
Yeah, I feel like...
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I think so, too, because
there's a lot of beats
I feel like
on.
Marvel does that, where they'll be like, oh, this is about... I think the only time it's been different was when they did the Falcon... not Falcon Winter Soldier. The Falcon Captain America, where they basically spoiled the entire final fight.
I'm going to disagree with myself. 52 minutes in,
yeah,
because they have to introduce him on the campus.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of that going on, and they probably will do an action beat.
I feel like
especially because they're saying a lot of we're going to do. It's kind of like the PS4 one. I feel like that is going to ring true, and that's kind of going to imply action beat wise is they're going to start in action within the first 2 minutes.
My prediction is that he's not going to realize that, what he is fighting is being possessed until the Hulk thing hits. And that's the catalyst for the
because he
build
knows
up to
how
the rest of it.
controlled Hulk is, and he sees the gadget and still working.
I think that what we're going to see is that, the opening of the movie will be set, just after No Way Home. And then there will be an instant action montage that takes us through 4 years of him being Spider-Man into the new present day.
Oh, they also have
then is how MJ and Ned are moving back into New York because they're done with the university.
There's the whole not Hulk banner, not banner Hulk. In the trailer, and there's is it most iterations wherever people forget who Peter Parker is? Hulk tends to remember because he's not in the transformed state.
That has been parroted a lot online.
That has been going on in the comics.
The only thing about that is that in the MCU, the Hulk has never met Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Bruce Banner had met Peter Parker.
They're
the smart Hulk is not Hulk's brain in there at all. It's all Bruce
Banner.
Bruce
Banner's Hulk. Yeah.
And even then, he doesn't really interact with Spider-Man. He dies and comes back, and that's it.
The most they interact with, you could assume, is maybe at the funeral.
Which would be hilarious.
No.
Oh, because they never would have been I'm the Hulk now.
No, because Peter Parker gets dusted.
No, I didn't mean that time skip. I meant the general time skip between things past Endgame.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have interacted.
Yeah. Hulk especially would not have interacted. Yeah. Bruce Banner might have interacted and then forgotten him, but then...
Yeah. I think it's more likely that what we'll get is a Doomsday or Secret Wars thing where Steve, because he wasn't in the universe or in the time zone when that spell was sent out. So then he'll be like, oh, where's Peter? And they're like, oh,
who's Peter?
They'll be like, oh, Star-Lord's on his way. And they'll be like, no, Peter Parker. And they're like, who the fuck is that? And
the kid from...
And he's like, what did I miss?
I do think that in the trailer, they have a moment where Bruce is like, you're not one of my students, are you? I have a feeling that Peter Parker is just going to straight up explain what happened to him, because I feel like it would be very easy for Bruce to be like, that tracks. I worked with a god once, so...
Yeah. Or he will do the I'm friends with Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, look, I know a guy who is Spider-Man and he's going through this thing.
A guy who is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Or
Does he have a
I don't
name?
think...
Don't you worry.
Okay, do we think that he tells Ned and MJ who he is by the end of the movie?
Yes, by the end of the movie, yes.
I think
he at least tells MJ.
I think at least MJ finds out. I'd be
the whole
sad if
Punisher,
Ned
like, we
didn't.
need
Do
to go thing.
you think that he ends up with MJ at the end of the movie?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
I think that'd be too.
I think I agree with that. I think I agree
weird.
with both of those.
I think that's too much too soon. I think they might seed in the idea that they might then make up at the end of... Because I feel like whatever the next movie is, it's probably one of the final ones with Tom Holland, so they might want to do a happy ending with MJ.
Maybe.
I think that the likelihood now,
one at least,
I think the likelihood now is that we get 2 more Tom Holland movies on there after this one.
Yeah.
Which would mean
So we get a trilogy.
There's a wind down towards a nice ending with MJ, I feel.
Yeah. But I think that at the very least, I think MJ. I think
Ned and him aren't like besties.
I
again
think
by
that
the end of the film.
I think that MJ has a boyfriend in this movie, and she stays with him at the end of this movie as well.
Probably, yeah.
Because she might then be...
I think she might have some quite genuine resentment of, I literally explicitly asked you to
I
tell...
don't think she'll remember that.
No, but even then,
Yeah.
if he's explaining the
Right.
concept of what happened, she is a character that's intuitive enough to go, okay, but then you just said that I asked you to do this. Why didn't you do it?
That's if he tells her that part of it.
For sure. But you know what I mean? Like, if she gets told the full picture, she will have gripes with the full picture.
I think more likely is that it will be something where it's like you can know these things about someone, but you don't. But if you don't remember it, you don't have the emotion that goes with
I have a
it.
feeling it'll be this is really weird and I need to process this and I don't know how to
It's
be
like if a
around
random-
you.
To you, I'm your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
To me,
You're
you are the
literally
guy
nobody.
down the corridor. So
Yeah.
give me a minute.
I think that is going to be the thing that will be the interesting part of that. Do we think that Spider-Man... Do we think that Spider-Man dies in this movie and is resurrected for Secret Wars with the symbiote? Do we think that he gets anything symbiote adjacent at all?
I would love it because that's one of my favorite Spider-Man subplots.
I'd be
is the
happy
symbiote
with the symbiote
stuff.
story, but I don't.
But I don't
know
think
if it's going to go.
I think if
that way.
anything, it would happen like next.
What do we think
movie.
is causing the spider puberty thing that he's going through?
I think that's just. I think it is just a progression of his powers. Like it could be catalyst. The catalyst could be something
Whatever's
to do
going
with the
on with
snap
that
or
hand
whatever.
stuff or what
But
have you.
that's it's going to be oh my god, what the fuck is it called? The comic run where he basically gets more spidery.
Yeah. Are we getting Man Spider? Are we getting...
Are we getting Spiders Man? He just bursts into spiders.
We're getting more of the man spidery stuff.
I think that's what we're getting. Yeah.
They did do something with like the black eyes in one of the trailers.
But I would argue
the
that
black eyes are
he looks
meant
more
to
like
be...
an arachnid than he looks like a venom.
I think it's, if anything, it's meant to make people wonder if it's a symbiote, but it would make more people be like,
do you
it's
think
Man
that there's
Spider.
a post-credit scene that hints at symbiote stuff?
Again, I would love that because we know the symbiote is in that universe right now.
I would be excited, and honestly, not to promote our own work, but I think a Flash Thompson story would be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool way of going, okay, that character that we all forgot about in this movie.
Do we think that any part of the movie in itself ties into Doomsday at all?
Probably, but probably in a way that we wouldn't be able to guess right now.
Because I think they're really relying on in the same way that Fantastic Four doesn't really touch on it and could have done, kind of end of the world stuff a bit more. I think Spider-Man's going to do a very similar ending, and then there's going to be a revelation on an end credits.
I wouldn't be okay. Would you say that this definitely won't happen? There's an idea of there's an end credits. There's an end credits with either Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield that is hinting at them being in Doomsday, and that's a big.
I don't think they would.
Interesting. Look what happened to.
If they do anything like that, what I think they're going to do. And I don't think... Okay, so part of my brain thinks this would be a good narrative setup, and then the other part of my brain goes, this would never happen because they do not have the time to produce and shoot this.
Right.
But I would say an Andrew Garfield or a Tobey Maguire situation would be more interesting if they were already in Battleworld, and it was almost like a flash forward of this is what the ground is like.
I don't think they'll ever touch.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't think that they would do that, but it would intrigue me.
I think I could see a post-credit scene that is maybe either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire having like the incursion happening on their world, and that's like the oh my god, some like these incursions are happening.
That would do very well,
and then
you're right that Sadie Sink is Tobey Maguire's kid.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think it's going to be that. Could even be
a Sadie Sink goes back to that world, tells...
I'm just thinking that
I just don't think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, as much as I... See, the thing is
they did that last time, and they want this to be a solo story.
I just don't think that they would do that.
In terms of the fact that, like, both the Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four end credits were basically shot on the set of Doomsday, they will have probably done the same thing for whichever is the Spider-Man post-credit scene.
With Secret Wars.
With Doomsday.
With Doomsday.
So, and if, say, a Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield are in those movies, which is, I think, is still possible as one of the things they're holding out on.
Do you know what?
In the same way that I think that like
I think it's
Deadpool and Wolverine
possible.
are in those movies and they've not said anything.
I think it's entirely possible that could be the case. I would treat that as quite severe bloat for a story, especially because they're already doing the X-Men tie-ins.
I think that realistically,
there's so many goddamn characters.
They need Andrew Garfield.
I think. Well, I'm just saying one or the other is more like it would be one of them, and I think it would end up being that like if you were into Doomsday, the opening of Doomsday would be the X-Men fighting with the Spider-Men from Tobey's world, for example, to destroy Tobey's world to save their own. And that's the opening, and that sets the stakes of, like, the fact that you have to destroy another Earth to save your own during an incursion.
I just don't...
And then that's your opening action beat. It's the same as, like, your Hulk fighting Thanos thing is setting up...
In the Secret Wars comic.
I just don't think I can see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. It would depend. Because Andrew Garfield himself has constantly in interviews after that movie said, like, look, if there is a story to tell, I'll do it again, but I'm getting too old to play Spider-Man.
Right, but then he's also the one that was like, I'm definitely not in the movie, guys.
That was after you can tell that there's a marked difference between... Like, he could be lying, but it's not the kind of thing that I can see him doing twice in a row.
I think he's also realistic. Like, he's got to a point where he seems more like he's done his commercial stuff.
Right.
He's more of a, please can you give me a fucking Oscar now actor.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe Tobey Maguire then is probably the more likely option.
I don't even think so, because I think realistically Tobey Maguire's busy dating a 20-year-old, and then also...
and being accused of dating Ice Spice.
And
sharing a vape with Ice Spice.
Sharing a vape with Ice Spice is arguably more cringe.
And outside of the weird age gap stuff, I think he's just genuinely living his fucking life now. And it's not acting at the same level.
Who would say no to a couple more $1 million?
Well, I think it's like you're being...
$1 million.
Especially if they don't show his face and they can just do like... somebody in like a stuntman in the costume, and then he just goes into the recording booth.
It's entirely possible. I just don't sit. You know what? If it does happen, I think I will find it annoying because there's enough nostalgia.
And I say this as like I love Andrew Garfield, but
I love Andrew Garfield. I think the reason why the X-Men nostalgia works is because it's a pre-built universe of people and characters.
So is
to do into the
Spider-Man.
Not to the same extent.
I think what made No Way Home. What it made it so good in No Way Home was that it was like, oh, you got these actors to do this.
Right.
Whereas if you do it again, it takes away the magic.
But I don't think that's what that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like Tobey Maguire being like a main character throughout the movie.
I think if they do it, they'll imply it.
I'm talking about like the idea that like Doomsday is the closing off of the multiverse in Marvel. You kind of want to be showing what that looks like. You have to show in the first couple of minutes of Doomsday what it looks like when two universes collide. And I think that the X-Men is the perfect group of people to show they've been fighting off like incursions from several different other worlds before
characters
they get
that you once knew as quite heroic and now kind of survivalist.
Yeah. And maybe they're doing something quite awful, like killing off other characters that you love. Like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and that universe.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand the interest. I really just don't think it's Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
I think if they do it, they'll imply it. I think they'll imply that it has happened, but they may not actually get a shot or a recording of either of them.
It will feel too much like the complaint that everyone is having of this is just a cameo fest. rather than an actual legitimate usage of characters and deployments.
Yeah.
I would disagree.
I know you would disagree, but I think ultimately...
Because I think ultimately that's what I would do, whereas I would make it clear, maybe even have, like, MCU Spider-Man react to that news because he knows what worlds they've come from. Being like,
Right.
hey, this guy that you briefly considered a brother to you, his entire universe is gone. And he has to, and we feel the pain of losing Andrew Garfield through Tom Holland's Spider-Man, rather than seeing or feeling it.
If anything, to get that callous, like, oh my god, that's just gone.
Right.
That callous nature of it, I think it's more potent if it's a throwaway line.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than we're showing it. Like, this is arguably a rare tell don't show moment rather than a show don't tell moment.
Yeah, because you're showing the pain.
You're showing the pain rather than you're showing the event.
So what you're talking
and
about
then the
there is like you do that, like the main MCU universe, the Fantastic Four universe, and the X-Men universe are definitively like the last three that exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
you cut into the action of
and then
this,
you
rather
kind of
than-
rely on the audience going, oh my god, everyone's gone.
Right, do you think the audience is smart enough to remember?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so. Because
Or at
you
least
will
I
get
think
a million
the
of those
film is-
TikToks that are like, the moment when I realized this means that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man
Yeah.
is
Even
dead.
if the audience is not smart enough, the film is smart enough to ignore the fact that some people in the audience are morons.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Maybe.
otherwise you are just making a full feature-length film that should be good into slot content that explains itself every single minute possible.
But I think that we have to at least show in that movie, an incursion has to be shown to the audience.
For sure. I
I think that's gonna be the X-Men.
To show how... But I don't think... No, because I think the X-Men are a bigger part of the movie than just like, and they're gone.
No, I don't think they'll be gone, but I do think that someone who has survived their own incursion
Will be there.
They'll
probably
be the stragglers
see
from their world clashing into
Yeah.
the 616 or the Fantastic Four.
I think we're
Like,
gonna
put
see
it this
that
way,
incursion.
We have 3 universes on the table already
Yeah.
with what's going on, so we don't need a number 4
Really
with just
sturdy
Spider-Man.
table.
I
We
still
have-
think
we
that
have
regardless,
Fantastic
I still think
Four,
that
we have
regardless,
X-Men.
the movie will probably open with an incursion in which the X-Men have to destroy an entire world.
And I think that's the Fantastic Four world.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I think it's more likely than Spider-Man, put it that way.
No, I think the Fantastic Four world isn't going to be gone straight away from a multiple of reasons. One of them being that in the trailer they show that it's still there in the Doomsday
Yeah,
trailer.
it could just be the first, 10 minutes.
I don't think... I also know for a fact that they go to the Fantastic Four world after fighting the X-Men.
Okay.
Which means that because of stuff that they released at Comic-Con, which means they aren't doing that.
I think TLDR, who knows?
Well, yeah.
We both don't know.
Yes.
We both don't
Yes,
think.
but, like,
we both don't
yes.
think it's Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
And you think it's Tobey Maguire, and that's fine.
I think if it is the X-Men one, it would make for an interesting thing of somehow the X-Men themselves have managed to essentially become refugees to another universe, which would then the X-Men, despite the fact that we have a million superheroes already thing. Because then they have an actual reason to differentiate them from the quote-unquote mutant type people they already have.
Maybe I think that by the time that we get to X-Men after Secret Wars,
It's
there will be
reset
no
anyway.
there will be no through line between the old X-Men and the new, and the old universe and the new one, and it will be like, well, some things happened that were the same, like like Thanos and stuff happened, and the old Age of Ultron and some of the stuff
But
with the Avengers
Cyclops
happened.
was there
But
too.
then also like the X-Men were doing their own thing in the past, and Wolverine was fighting alongside Captain America in World War II. And these, whereas like.
But I do think, the Fox universe has got to die.
No, they've already done send-offs in different ways.
No, Ru, they're all going. They're all dying,
Yeah,
including the main
gone.
MCU is dying in this movie.
But I actually do think it would be interesting because then it would become like there are literally refugees from another universe, and then that becomes the new like.
I think that it's more likely that it's going off of the morality thing of like when you have to choose between the entire world living or dying, and the only way to save your world is to condemn another full world's worth of people.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
At what point can the X-Men, for example, continue to call themselves heroes?
When
and
do
stuff?
you think the incursion events are going to happen?
What, in the movie?
Yeah.
I think
I
pretty
think
soon.
that's
I
maybe
think
the
the movie.
disagreement.
I think the movie. I genuinely think the movie opens with the X-Men at least fending off a different incursion where they have to destroy a world.
Yeah.
And then I think that very quickly from the Fantastic Four showing up in the main 616 universe, both of the Fantastic Four universe and the X-Men world appear simultaneously in the sky, and they're the last 3 universes left.
So I think the difference in opinion is
I
think you're right in that it would be a better story if they start with an incursion event at the beginning. I realistically think they're going to be doing 30 minutes of setup before they get to realistic incursions.
I don't know, because, Infinity War, I had that same expectation, but they do start right out the bat with people dying.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it is Russo brothers, and they do kind of go for the,
I think their bigger Avengers films, they're pretty good at being, scrap an A to B plot kind of thing.
Think about the opening of Multiverse of Madness, which is...
God, I can't remember.
which is 5 minutes of America Chavez and an alternate Doctor Strange fighting off a creature thing, and then him dying. And that sets up the idea of, that America Chavez is being chased down by these magical beings, and that she has met up with previous Doctor Stranges. Right. And I can very easily see that for 5 to 10 minutes, you have an opening of a scene which is just an apocalyptic event happening on a different world that the X-Men have to do to save themselves. And then we don't see the X-Men for half an hour to 40 minutes. Sure. And then when we get there, it's like, oh my god, they've lost their own humanity doing this thing. Yeah. And then
I like the idea of the X-Men being bitter and having to be survivors.
And then the X-Men universe can be destroyed. I think the X-Men universe is the first one to get destroyed. Yeah. I then think that the what's likely happens next is that the Fantastic Four universe and the 616 are the last two. And I think that the choice that gets made is that no one is going to destroy no one universe is going to destroy the other, or more than likely is that the 616 universe is the more aggressive universe than the Fantastic Four's world.
Because the disconnect of everyone around.
Because the Fantastic Four's world seems to be more of a world that's come to believe in disarmament and peace.
Let's round this down before you just go to full Doomsday Marvel theory.
If that's not what you think the post-credit scene is, then what do you think it is? For Spider-Man.
What do you mean?
For Spider-Man. What do you think the post-credit scene for Spider-Man is?
I don't know. It could be any number of things.
If I think it's not an incursion event...
or not a multiverse... Is it... Are they not address Doomsday at all?
I think it might be more of the... They clearly filmed these action sequences in these certain blocks in the Doomsday sets. So not an Avengers Tower shot, maybe more of an X-Mansion shot.
Right.
Just, that's my vague guess.
Okay.
But literally, these end credits are designed to surprise us, right? So,
they can be kind of anything.
The Fantastic Four
good ones are designed to surprise us.
The Fantastic Four one was good, and still, I think,
very predictable.
Was predictable. It was like the Doctor Doom.
That's not one of my favourite ones, for sure.
I think that, Spider-Man specifically is kind of a crossroads of Marvel content where it could be anything from,
or to a trailer for trailer for Doomsday that's different.
Honestly, God, there could be some random Sony bullshit where they do some end credit for Beyond the Spider-Verse. That's not out of the realm of possibility. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Oh, no,
we gotta remember that Sony is gonna treat it like an advert if they can.
Shit.
They do the exact same ending that they did for Morbius, but they think they can get away with it because no one watched Morbius except us.
Yeah.
No, Nat, you're so right. It's the fucking Beyond the Spider-Verse trailer.
Could be.
Anyway, it could be.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Before anyone says, I 100% predicted
He was
this.
so happy and excited, and you broke him with
That's
one
so
sentence.
bad. That would piss me. I'm excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I want people to know.
What can I say?
But I want to see that trailer in front of the movie, in front of Brand New Day.
As God intended.
As God intended.
I cannot stand when they put a trailer for a movie in the post-credits.
You know what pisses me off, Don? When
I don't know if they'll put the trailer per se, but they might do a just a teaser for whatever other fucking.
Or they'll be like, Tom Holland is talking to Miles Morales in some cartoon
Beyond the Spider-Verse,
and he's a human being.
So what's up with your plotline? Oh, this is what's happening in my plotline. Interesting. This is what's happening in my plotline.
The end of Venom, all it did was potentially set up a symbiote thing that never happened.
Yeah.
The end of Morbius did set up something that never happened.
I think these are realistic expectations. It's a symbiote in the real world. What's going on with that? End credit, or it's a Beyond the Spider-Verse. Or it's a far less important than we think end credit for Doomsday.
Yeah, maybe.
So no incursion, more like
And then
what's up with Peter
Yeah.
Parker in the world when Doomsday is happening.
And then final
Yeah.
question: Spider-Man in Doomsday, yes or no?
Yeah,
I don't know,
so.
maybe, but I can see a world where he's more important in Secret Wars again.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
could
I
be.
personally think no. I think no, he's not in it.
I think it's best to just assume that there will be one or two surprise cameos within Doomsday,
Yeah,
but more or less just stick to what the chairs said.
yeah,
Oh,
They're-
right,
they're-
he wasn't announcing
He's
the
not on them-
chairs.
he's not on
That's
them
true,
chairs.
That's true.
yeah. All right,
He's not in the chairs.
Listen to the
Go down the
chairs.
stairs.
that's it.
Know what I'm saying?
I'm looking forward
Mr.
to
Feige,
Brand
you've been
Day.
great.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
I said it. I said bye.